What's up, family? Come on, get in here, get in here, get in here, y'all. Let's get them. Hey, Sheila! Praise God, Sheila on here, y'all. Y'all keep Sheila in your prayer. She lives in the area of Houston, so they had tornadoes and stuff. So she is just praise y'all. She's good, y'all. Let's thank her. So with that being said, love you, Sheila. I'm glad to see that you out here, y'all. I need y'all to hit that like button. I need y'all to hit this like button. This and share this. This is going to be an interesting conversation. I actually, thanks to Santonio, thanks to Santonio, I was actually talking to him and a couple other people. He said, "Sister E, have you heard about the plane crash? We just found out." So let's get y'all ready to get straight to business. We finna get straight to business. I'm trying to get everybody in here, but we finna get it crack-a-lacking. That's interesting that last night, y'all, it's interesting. Last night, I was compelled to talk about wars and rumors of wars out of nowhere. I was like, okay, I'm gonna talk about wars and rumors of wars. And then I wake up this morning and get done with, do all the stuff I need to do for the day. Um, and then I get a call about this. I'm like, oh, this is gonna get real interesting. So with that being said, let's get it started. Let me share.
Well, as of now, it's now confirmed that the helicopter that was carrying the president of Iran, the head of the government in this country, the second man in command in the country, and the country's top diplomat, the foreign minister, Hussein Emir Abdullahian, and the local governor of the province of East Azerbaijan were all in the same helicopter, and that helicopter has crashed. The state media still is using different terms. Some of them are saying that it was a hard landing, but some say that it was a crash. But in any way, we know that the situation is quite serious here because the helicopter is still missing and the rescue teams have not been able to reach the site of the incidents. So just to a little bit rule back, today, the president of Iran, Ibrahim Raisi, and the president of Azerbaijan, Ilham Aliyev, they have attended an inauguration ceremony of a dam alongside the Iranian-Azerbaijani border. And after 3 years of tensionous relations between these two countries, they have took the opportunity, they used this as an opportunity to somehow restore the ties. And today they met there and there were lots of delegations from both sides, the top diplomats of the countries, politicians, and including the head of the state in Azerbaijan and the head of government in Iran. They have sent out war messages, the cooperation, the good neighborly relations between the two countries, trying to diffuse the tension.
Showing up on the first page of Google might not be the best for everyone.
We're covering breaking news out of Iran, and the helicopter carrying Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi, as well as the foreign minister, has gone missing in bad weather conditions in the north of the country. President Raisi was reportedly on his way to the city of Tabriz in northern Iran. That's near the border. And President Raisi was in the region to inaugurate a dam and also to hold talks with their Azerbaijani president. We have Rasul Sardar joining us from the Iranian capital, Tehran. Rasul, what are you hearing at this hour?
Well, as of now, it's now confirmed that the helicopter that was carrying the president of Iran, the head of the government in this country, the second man in command in the country, and the country's top diplomat, the foreign minister, Hussein Emir Abdullahian, and the local governor of the province of East Azerbaijan were all in the same helicopter, and that helicopter has crashed. The state media still is using different terms. Some of them are saying that it was a hard landing, but some say that it was a crash. But in any way, we know that the situation is quite serious here because the helicopter is still missing and the rescue teams have not been able to reach the site of the incidents. So just to a little bit rule back, today, the president of Iran, Ibrahim Raisi, and the president of Azerbaijan, Ilham Aliyev, they have attended an inauguration ceremony of a dam alongside the Iranian-Azerbaijani border. And after 3 years of tensionous relations between these two countries, they have took the opportunity, they used this as an opportunity to somehow restore the ties. And today they met there, and there were lots of delegations from both sides, the top diplomats of the countries, politicians, and including the head of the state in Azerbaijan and the head of government in Iran. They have sent out warm messages, the cooperation, the good neighborly relations between the two countries, trying to diffuse the tension. So after the inauguration, President Raisi and his
Something very interesting. And you said that, and I was thinking about that. It's interesting that they are on the same plane or same helicopter. It's interesting. I've never seen that they've allowed them to be on the same plane. In most cases, usually you don't have all the same delegates on the same flight, or rather, or the same plane. You usually put them on two different planes. Now, all of a sudden, all three of them were on the same helicopter. Y'all can't find the helicopter, and they are missing. All three of them. All three of them. That's crazy, y'all. It's crazy that I woke up this morning. Last night I was in the bed. I was laying down. Actually, I was laying on the couch watching TV, and I said, I'm gonna do a live. I said, what am I gonna do a live about? I was gonna talk about Israel and all the other stuff that's going on. I said, I feel like some just said wars and rumors of wars. I said, I'm gonna talk about that. I said, but what am I? I'm telling you, I kid y'all not. I put the live out there, didn't have any content. I was just like, I'm gonna talk about it and I'm just gonna shoot from the hip. On the phone with Santonio, 3 minutes before this conversation, 3 minutes before I was supposed to get on the live, Santonio said, I'm on the phone with Santonio and Don and all of them. And Santonio says, Sister E, we about to go to war. I said, what are you talking about? He said, the Iranian president and the prime minister were in a plane crash and they cannot find them. I said, oh, wow. He said, and they're missing and they can't find them. I said, that's what I'm going to talk about. Kid y'all not. I was like, yeah. The interesting thing, this is the quietest my apartment has been in a long time. Y'all, I'm telling y'all, this right here is interesting. How is it that all of the major officials were haphazardly on the same plane? It's crashed and they're missing. Y'all. I'm like, y'all think everybody's that stupid? Then they happen to get on there and say it was a faulty plane or the weather. And I'm like, man, I'm gonna keep playing it.
Teams, the top Iranian diplomats and politicians, they took on three helicopters. 2 of that helicopters, they have landed successfully. But the one that was carrying President Ibrahim Raisi, the foreign minister Emir Abdullahian, and the local.
Another thing, did he say it was 3 planes? 2 of them was successful, and 1 who happens to have all 3 major officials on it crashed. Y'all, 3 planes, meaning they probably would have had each person, the prime minister on one, the president and the other one, and I think it was the other official, may have been 2 officials. I can't remember. I'm gonna go back and we can re-listen. They would have them on 2 separate planes. They do that within the U.S. But all of a sudden, all of them are on the same helicopter. They're in the same helicopter. I say that, not plane, but helicopter. And that helicopter happened to crash with all of them in there. And then it was a faulty plane. Why would you put? Are we that stupid? Why would you put your major officials in a faulty plane? Sheila, 40 days. Did you say 40 days? Y'all, I'm not laughing, but I'm just like, make it make sense. Make it make sense. That's just like putting the president of the United States in a faulty plane, but everybody else is in a good plane. That doesn't make it make sense, y'all. This is interesting. I ain't trying to be a conspiracy theorist, but it's just something ain't adding up. And I'm watching, and I know, man, hold on, y'all, and keep playing.
Local governor of East Azerbaijan province has crashed somewhere in between Julfa and Varzegan in East Azerbaijan province, which is roughly between 70 to 100 kilometers away to Tabriz, the largest city, Iranian city in the north of the country. So here, the rescue teams, they say that they have arrived to the area. However, they have not been able to still have an access to the particular the site, the spot of the incident. They are now somewhere in between Julfa and Verzegan, but they have not been able to detect the spot where the helicopter just crashed. And so as of now, we do not know whether there has been any communication between the president, foreign minister, the local governor, and the other people that were in the same helicopter, between them and the rescue teams. We do not know whether there has been any sort of the communication. And we do not know whether the president is injured, the top diplomat of Iran is injured, the local governor or the others that were on the same helicopter are injured or not, or even maybe more seriously. But what we know, the helicopter is now missing. And the rescue teams say they're in frantic efforts to reach to the area, to reach to that support. But they're also saying that it is a mountainous area, the forest, and it is rainy, it is foggy, and all of these factors combined together are hammering their rescue efforts. And now that particularly it's evening in Iran, and we are getting into night, so it's going to get darker and darker. And all of these factors combined are telling us that there is a very difficult task ahead of the rescue teams to reach the president. We do not know, however, as I said, the situation of the president, of the foreign minister, of the local governor, and the others that were on the same helicopter. So one thing to note, Darine, here, we're talking about Iranian aviation sector. So it has been under sanctions almost since the Islamic Revolution in 1979. We're talking about almost 4 decades of the sanctions, and they are quite outdated. So due to these sanctions, the Iranian authorities, institutions, the aviation sector cannot renew the outdated parts. They cannot replace them with the modern equipment. So the helicopters, the passenger planes, or any equipment that is being used in aviation sector are some of them decade-old equipments. And we see such crashes, such aviation accidents quite often in this country, and many of them are deadly ones. So that is why when there are the reports about any aerial vehicle being crashed, so it has to be taken quite serious. So the accident took place in the East Azerbaijan province, where the majority of the population are the Turkish-speaking Azeri people, and it's at the north of the country. It is relatively a mountainous area. It's challenging in terms of the terrain, and now the rescue teams are saying that it is rainy, it is foggy, and it is quite difficult for them really to have an access to this area. But as of now, what we know, what is confirmed, is that the helicopter that was carrying president of the country, the top diplomat of the country, the foreign minister, and the local governor of East Azerbaijan province, that helicopter crashed, and it is still missing. They do not know the exact location. They are trying to find it out, but they are saying that the weather conditions are making the things quite difficult.
Okay, Rasul, thank you for giving us all that information from Tehran. We'll let you go for the time being, and we'll speak to Mohammad Marandi, who's a political analyst, also joining us from Tehran. Mr. Marandi, thanks for taking the time to speak to us. What are you hearing on your end? I mean, there's still a lot that we don't know. What do you know?
I think your reporter gave an accurate description of the situation. The helicopter was flying in a mountainous region. It's also a dense forest as well. There were 3 helicopters, and there was the pilot was forced to make a hard landing. This is what we've heard so far. And the rescue teams are moving in that direction, but it is a very, as I said, it's mountainous and it's there are forests, and it's very foggy, and it's also raining. So it's going to be some time possibly before we get news of the president and his delegation that was going to the city of Tabriz from the border area.
So you then expect it to be a challenging rescue operation, particularly in that area?
Yes, because we've seen footage of the area. There's a very heavy fog as we speak. We've had the last few weeks in Iran, actually, we've had a lot more rain and even snow than we usually would have during this time of year. We had a flood in the city of Mashhad to the northeast of the country, which killed a number of people. So this weather is not usual for this time of year, and the region is mountainous. So we don't know yet. Hopefully the president will be found safe and sound, but we are waiting for further news just like everyone else.
And we understand, Mr. Marandi, that the foreign minister as well, Amir Abdullahian, was among the passengers in that helicopter incident.
That's right, because they met with the president of the Republic of Azerbaijan and on the border area to inaugurate a major project. And so obviously the foreign minister would be a part of the delegation. The president was also planning to visit a couple of provinces in the north. He does travel a lot throughout the country. I think we have 30 provinces, and I think every year he's promised to travel to each province at least once. So he's constantly on the move. But this time around, it's caused obviously concern for everyone. People are concerned, but we're hopeful.
What would be the state of the helicopter that he was traveling in and that convoy? We understand there were 3 helicopters in that convoy. And I ask you this because our reporters have been pointing out that Iran, of course, has been under decades of U.S. sanctions. So if you can tell us a little bit of how that's affected the aviation industry and the maintenance of such equipment.
Well, I don't know about these particular helicopters myself, but obviously the Americans have put severe sanctions on the Iranian aviation industry. Iranian airlines are always seeking for spare parts over the past few years.
My question is this: how would they truly know that it was the fault of the plane if they have not recovered the plane yet? Y'all notice that it's already being a case that's being built before you haven't even got to the site yet. And you already deemed it and got the story in place that, oh, it's the fault of the plane. I'm like, y'all still searching for them. So how would you know? It could have been heck, if you want, it could have been a pigeon that hit the the propeller. You don't know, but they've already building. Well, we already have problems. U.S. didn't give us good, equipment because of the sanctions, and have y'all? They're building a narrative before you even have recovered him. I feel like how you do when people lie to their parents, and they be like, okay, this is what I'm gonna say. That's how I feel like they doing. It's obvious. It's very obvious. I'm gonna keep going.
They've been able to make their own spare parts for many of the aircrafts or all of their aircraft, but it is still a problem. But I don't know what is the make of these helicopters, how old they are, if they have any problem. It does seem though that there was very bad weather, and it is very foggy, and the footage from the rescue teams does show that it's very difficult to see there. So it could be that the helicopter pilot, since the people on his helicopter were more important as government officials than the other two, didn't want to risk it, and he swiftly brought down the helicopter. It could be something else, but again, we'll have to wait and see. I don't have any information at all that could be helpful in that regard.
Right.
All I can say is that what I'm seeing from the television footage, visibility is very low.
Look, then I don't mean to put you on the spot here, but I just wondered what you understand from when it's being described by Iranian media as this helicopter having to make an emergency landing as well as a hard landing. I mean, do you have any more details on exactly what would have happened?
It could be many things. I would expect that it would be that due to low visibility, the pilot either wanted to bring the helicopter down quickly, or that he suddenly saw something and quickly sought to bring down the helicopter. There is a report, and I don't know if this is true or not, that one of the people in the helicopter made a brief phone call, but because the connection is very bad, they couldn't speak. But I don't know if that's true or not. That was in a report that I saw in one of the news agencies. So it's at this stage, it's all speculation.
Yeah, and we are working to confirm all the information, but we'll let you go for now. Thank you so much, Mohammad Marandi, for speaking to us from Tehran.
Thank
Well,
you.
we have Al Jazeera's correspondent, Ali Hashim, who has covered Iran extensively. You're joining us here, Ali. Are you hearing anything on your end?
Well, just the same. I mean, till the moment, it's speculations. And as Dr. Marandi was saying also, many analyses, but there is nothing solid yet. Weather is very bad. Area
Tell
is
us what we know at this
mountainous.
hour.
What we know for now is that a helicopter carrying the president, the foreign minister, Hassan Amir Abdulhayan, the governor of Eastern Azerbaijan, and the Imam of Tabriz were all on the same plane, had to do a hard landing, as was reported. According to the interior minister, till the moment, it's very difficult to reach the scene of the incident. And the country's institutions, the Red Crescent, the army, the IRGC, the security, they're all mobilized right now to find the president. For now, the president and his crew and the team in this plane are missing.
So what would that mobilization look like? What would be happening right now?
Cars, planes, people coming out from every area in the surroundings. I think that the IRGC will be leading such an operation because they have a lot of resources to be used in such situations. And given the fact also, Iran has a lot of experiences in such incidents
What do you mean
over
by
the
that?
past years. Plane crashes, helicopter crashes, these things have been happening, and you just discussed that. This is one of the reasons is the sanctions, because the lack of spare parts, very old helicopters, very old planes. This is one of
So
the
these
reasons.
types of accidents are not uncommon, is
No,
what
no,
you're
this is
saying.
not uncommon. Several army generals, several officials were victims of such crashes, of such incidents. Just last year, the minister of sports was on a plane that crashed. He didn't die, but at the end, he was on a plane that crashed. And many people in the past also went through this. Several, as I said, army generals also were killed in similar crashes, especially helicopter crashes. And what I'm thinking is that this area is mountainous, it's very difficult, and that's why the president had to go there with a helicopter. So it seems there are many limitations to arrive at the point where the president was going with a car or with a normal plane. So they had to take this helicopter. The problem is that on their way back, this accident or this incident took place, because till the moment we don't have a clear definition of what happened.
Has there been any reporting on whether anyone from the Iranian establishment was in touch with those on the other helicopters, perhaps? Has there been any communication from that area?
Let me tell you, over the past at least 1 hour, there were several rumors. For example, one of the rumors was that the president wasn't on the helicopter and he was in a car on his way to Tabriz, to the city of Tabriz. But later on, we understood that this is not true. And the agency that published this line deleted it. There was another line, I think also your guest was talking about, that a line of communication was established with a member of the team, of the president's team, but later on there was no possibility to talk because the line was very bad. And no one is able really to confirm the.
You notice they playing cleanup. They said it was something that said that he was in a car, but that wasn't true, and they took it down. Y'all see that they playing cleanup. So what possibly could have happened? A bunch of people started reporting what possibly could have happened, but then they went and said, "Oh, take that down. That ain't the story we want to produce." You get what I'm saying? This is, y'all. This is going to be an interesting summer. This is going to be an interesting summer. I really believe that this is going, because you know Putin is sitting and watching. Putin is sitting and watching this. He watching this, y'all. He watching this. I got a feeling something else gonna come out. I just got a weird feeling. Yeah, this is gonna be interesting. So I'm gonna keep playing
these reports. The big question is whether the president had a satellite phone on his plane, for example, for such a situation, for emergency situations. And I mean, these are the questions that might be asked. But for now, what we know and what's obvious is that the president is missing. And the whole country is looking for the president. And as we were reporting in the past hour, Fars News agency is now calling on the people to pray for the president.
They can't find that plane, y'all. I hope that they people ain't handed him over. Y'all, this is just real fishy. This is real fishy. This is real weird. How is it that all of the major political figures or main political figures were on one single plane and now they're missing? What if there is no plane, y'all? What if they didn't they get in a plane together? Y'all, I don't know, y'all. I'm just giving y'all my thoughts. This is weird. You know, TikTok finna be live. If you ain't got no TikTok account, get on TikTok now, because it's finna be live tonight, y'all. Man, this is finna be interesting. All of a sudden, he comes up missing because of a plane crash, but not just him, but the prime minister and a governor, I think, came up missing. Y'all, this is gonna be, woo, TikTok finna be live. Let me charge my phone up. Here we go.
Ali, tell us what the president was doing on this particular day in that particular area. I mean, we've seen the pictures. We'll play them if we can, of him meeting up with the president of Azerbaijan.
This is the northern borders of Iran with Azerbaijan. Of course, the Republic of Azerbaijan is on the borders of Iran from the area of East Azerbaijan province and West Azerbaijan province. So the president was there. He met with President Aliyev, open an invitation, and he inaugurated a dam, a project there. And as we saw in the pictures, early pictures, there were many Iranian ministers. And actually, it seems that these ministers were in the other planes. So they were with him. The Minister of Roads, Mr. Pezeshkbash, was with him, and we saw others. So, and then after the inauguration of the project and the deliberations between the president and his counterpart, the Azeri counterpart, the whole event came to an end, and the president had to go back to Tabriz, which is the closest city to the border there. And of course, what we know now is that the plane went missing. And at the beginning, there was a report of hard landing. But given the fact that the plane is missing and there is no communication, I think the term itself, hard landing, was used just to describe the incident. But no one knows what happened really with the plane.
Because it's interesting. You said earlier on, just the last question for you, Ali. You said earlier on that first it was being reported as a hard landing, and then language changed to accident. Incident.
This is what the Interior Minister, Mr. Wahidi, said, Ahmed Wahidi.
Should we read anything into that?
Well,
correct, Sheila. I'm putting this right here. Why 2 out of the 3 made it and did not go back if it was an envoy? Y'all, this lie, I got a feeling they're gonna tell so many lies that Russia and China are gonna start connecting the dots, and it's gonna be this is gonna be ugly. If by any chance, if US or Israel had any hand in this, y'all, this is dangerous, y'all. I'm like, wait, this is crazy, man. Whew. This is interesting. Hold on, y'all. Y'all know I love news, but this right here, I'd laugh. It ain't about me, y'all. But I just last night was just talk about war and rumors of wars. Talk about war and rumors of war. I was like, I don't even have content, but I did it anyway. And lo and behold, I'm talking about right before the content, because I was looking for content and right before I was getting ready to go. So Antonio said, and I said, well, I got content 3 minutes before I was getting ready to go live, y'all. That's why I said, y'all, this is finna be ugly. But let me keep going.
The problem is that we don't have solid information.
Right.
So we're relying on the Iranian sources to tell us what's happening, and they don't know what happened.
Right.
So this is the issue right now. I think Iran is, all the institutions in Iran are currently mobilized to know what happened and to find the president, first of all, and to understand what happened. And there might be very big questions after this incident.
Okay.
It depends on the safety and the health of the president.
Okay, Ali Hashim, thank you for the time being.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.
Y'all, I promise y'all, if it comes out, I wonder how this is going to play out. Because right now, y'all, I'm not going to talk. I'm just going to go and look at news reports, and then we're just going to talk as we go. Because the thing is, as time progresses today, we're going to be getting more and more information. More and more information. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. I had another one I wanted us to look at today. Hold on. But while I'm looking for stuff, y'all, I'm telling y'all, what doesn't make sense is if you're in an envoy and the plane crashes, and you look back and you see that that person crashed, first and foremost, you're going, and what they're trying to do is make it seem like they were in a region where you couldn't reach it. Even then, the helicopters could tell you the destination of where it is, because it seems like they're trying to search for them. It wasn't like they were flying by themselves. It was two other helicopters. Some just doesn't make sense. You would go back and see where that person is, or if they're all right, or you wouldn't go, but you would even tell them where they are, or try to. Y'all, this ain't making sense right here. Now all of a sudden the weather, if the weather is that bad, really that bad, he wouldn't have got up there anyway. Because they're making it seem like visibility was bad. If visibility was bad, they wouldn't have gotten in the air with those helicopters. They're not stupid now. They're not stupid. Anybody who is a pilot understands that if visibility is bad, they're not going to get in the air. But they playing people like they're stupid. Come on here. They playing people like they're stupid. Come on here. Rio, today is not the day to cut up. Today, y'all, Rio, today he is in rap form. Hold on. Come here. Ah, you can get put up just for a second. Free Rio. Come on, Rio. I'll let you out of here. Heavy. Oh, I had to put him up because he was tearing stuff up as I'm talking. So you're not gonna get in the air invisibility if you cannot see. If you can't see, you're not gonna get up there. Everybody's not stupid. It doesn't make sense. Make it make sense. Just, y'all, this is getting ready to be. But this is just what I think. I might be wrong. So I'm finna play some TikToks and I might drop the link, but I am not finna be online all day, Saints. I'm just joking. Let me see. I'm finna drop this link. Everybody be nice. If you act crazy, I'm gonna kick you off. Dropping the link. I know Sheila and them like Sister E. Why? Because I love danger. Oh, let me make sure I pin it. Hold on. If you want to come up, the rule is stay on the subject. The subject is about Iran and the plane crash. Don't get up here and talk about something outside of it. So, but we're going to see a ton of stories just come out. Ton of stories. It's going to be different stories because they got but the thing is, they came, it's just been 2 hours. Just been 2 hours. Now you all of a sudden, you haven't found the plane, but all of a sudden the plane is faulty. We don't have any parts, and we all know that Iran has very good equipment when it comes to in some cases, when it comes to like planes and all that, they do have decent equipment. But yet still, why would you put your president in a faulty plane? That's what I can't understand. If you know that plane is faulty, but the other two are good, why would you put your president in there? Because you already deemed the plane as being faulty before you even found the plane. Before you have even found the plane, it's faulty. So you must have, this is not adding up. This is just not adding up to me. It's going to be interesting. When I keep saying plane, I mean helicopter, y'all. Y'all know what I mean. I'm country. Yes, the helicopters would be talking to one another. They would be talking to one another. Doug, I knew you was coming. I was waiting for you. I should have said,
Yeah, I decided to hop on. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you today?
I am doing well. I wanted to hop on and jump into this conversation at least as quickly as possible. That information caught me off guard as well. The death of this, or now the mystery of where the president of Iran is, and it's going to change things dramatically. I believe that this is going to usher in just a cascade of events. The mechanisms are more likely taking place as we speak.
Yeah.
And what's interesting? They have a plan for everything, sister. You know that
Yep.
they have a playbook for this circumstance as well as every other circumstance you can imagine. And I would say to brothers and sisters, just on a rudimentary level, just brace yourselves
Yes.
because we don't know what it might be that causes whatever effect that needs to take place to create our second exodus. And this could be the beginning, this could be nothing, it could turn out to be nothing too. Remember that, as we
Yep.
make it could be absolutely nothing. Get a new president and everything moves on as it was. But I'm pretty sure they're taking steps, and steps that are dramatic, folks. This isn't a light subject. This is just now hitting your. I commented when I came on how current you are. I thought that was very highly commendable, amazing how current you are right now, and that's it's a real testament to your ability to grab hold of this situation. And keep it up, sister. Keep it up. You are highly blessed.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is. You are welcome. I'm gonna get off. Hey, this is you folks keep up with the news every day. I don't do my show as often as I'd like to, but I do when I can. There are other brothers and sisters that are out there like you, sister, that are keeping the nation informed, Zion informed. Y'all just keep a go bag ready, y'all. Be ready to leave. Be ready for these devices to go off. Keep all this information in your mind because they're gonna take it away from you before they come at you.
Oh
All right, I
yeah.
gotta go.
All right. Thank
I
you,
gotta
Doug.
go. You're
Thank
welcome. Have a good day.
And if you have not subscribed for Doug's channel, please go and subscribe to Doug's channel. Doug Rice has a channel as well. He has good dialogue and conversations and details. I mean, conversations I don't want to say dialogue. It just really be him, but it's very interesting. So y'all, if y'all have not subscribed to Doug's channel, please go. Doug, put your channel in the chat. But y'all, I kid y'all not. What this is an interesting time. This is going to be because I kept saying, y'all, I said it's quiet. Nothing's really going on. Nothing's really going on. I said it's been kind of quiet. But then all of a sudden, the president. And then y'all didn't just hit one, y'all hit three major hitters. Y'all ensure that because the thing is, I think if the president, let's say if the president, they find out he passed away, I think one of those two guys possibly on the plane would have been next in line to take his seat. And I'm thinking that. I might be wrong. But all three of the individuals possibly that could potentially have been a candidate to take his seat, all three of them are wiped out. Possibly. Y'all, I'm sitting here like, so that they can put their puppet up. They made sure. I ain't gonna say that. Y'all, this is just. I ain't gonna say I'm a loss for words. Y'all know I can run my mouth for a good little minute, but this is gonna be interesting how this plays out. Let me see what else they got going on.
We are following breaking news coming from our content partners over at the Associated Press. We're learning a helicopter carrying the Iranian president has suffered a, quote, hard landing on this Sunday. Iranian state media reporting without immediately elaborating. We're told the president was traveling in Iran's East Azerbaijan province. State TV saying the incident happened near a city on the border with the nation of Azerbaijan, some 600 kilometers northwest of the Iranian capital of Tehran. We're told traveling with the president were Iran's foreign minister, the governor of Iran's East Azerbaijan province, and other officials. Now, one local government official used the word crash to describe the incident, but he acknowledged to an Iranian newspaper that he had yet to reach the site himself. No word yet on anyone's condition aboard that helicopter. We're told rescuers were attempting to reach the site, but had been hampered by poor weather conditions. We're told there had been heavy rain and fog reported with some wind in that area. Now, the Iranian president had been in Azerbaijan early this Sunday to inaugurate a dam with Azerbaijan's president. The dam is the third one that the two nations built along a river. The visit coming despite chilly relations between the two nations, including over a gun attack on Azerbaijan's embassy in Tehran back in 2023, and Azerbaijan's diplomatic relations with Israel, which Iran's Shiite theocracy views as its main enemy in the region. Iran flies a variety of helicopters in the country, but international sanctions make it difficult to obtain parts for them. Its military air fleet also largely dates back to before the 1979 Islamic.
Notice something. Everybody haphazardly has the same story. Within 2 hours, and nobody has recovered any information, and people are still trying to research. But now all of a sudden, let me put it in your head already, y'all. This is what they're doing. They're saying, let's go ahead and talk about, well, yeah, their parts, they didn't get the parts because of the sanctions. And everybody, have y'all noticed that everybody's saying the same thing? Am I crazy? Am I crazy? Am I crazy? Is everybody saying the same thing? My phone is ringing. Okay, I'm back. Everybody is saying the same thing. Everybody's saying the same story. Everybody. Al Jazeera said the same thing. That because of faulty parts, how have y'all come to the assumption that these are faulty parts when y'all have not even got to the site yet? Y'all still waiting for information. Let's go ahead and put it in their heads now that possibly that could have been the issue, so that when we do present that he's gone, they already say, oh, the plane crashed because of faulty parts. Yeah, that's the trump card right there. Russia is like, I'm finna get in this. I'm finna find out what's really going on. And if Russia finds out what really happened, if Russia gets wind of what really happened, game changer. And guess what? He don't need YouTube. He don't need CNN. He doesn't need MSNBC. He doesn't need Fox News. He finna go straight to TikTok. Bam. This is what really happened, y'all. Y'all, everybody is saying the same thing, but they don't know where the plane is. You would have. So let's go ahead and calm them down before it gets crazy. You get what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and calm them down and say faulty parts. But we don't even know yet. It could be a pigeon that got caught in the propeller. Who knows? But now all of a sudden, faulty parts. If you knew that plane had faulty parts, why would you put the president in it? Does the media think we that stupid? I really sometimes think that they think that we're that stupid. We were that stupid. I will admit it. We ain't gonna say stupid, but we were that sleep. That's the best way to put it. We were at one time that sleep that in 20 years ago, they could have gotten away with this. 20 years ago, we would have been like, yeah, faulty parts. Now people are just like, this is not adding up. Something's not adding up. And yeah, this is just, everybody's saying the same thing though. Faulty parts, faulty parts, faulty parts. Where's the plane? Show us the plane. Where's the plane? Where is he at? They've literally already wrote out this man obituary and said he died because of a faulty plane. But where's the plane and where's he at? Y'all.
Islamic Revolution. We're told 79 Islamic Revolution. We're told the president of Iran also largely dates back to before the 1979 Islamic Revolution. We're told the president of Iran at 63 years old is a hardliner who formerly led the country's judiciary. He's viewed as a protege of Iran's supreme leader, and some analysts have suggested he could replace the 85-year-old leader after his death or resignation from the role. Again, now at 9:35 on the East Coast, we are following this breaking news. The helicopter carrying Iran's president has suffered a hard landing. As we get more details, you'll be the first to know right here on Live Now from Fox.
It's RNC co-chair Lara Trump. On behalf of the entire Trump family, we want to thank you.
Y'all, this is interesting. Everybody has the same story. Everybody got the strange enough has the same story. And my thing is, how do you have the same story when there is no plane? Y'all can't get there right now because of the weather. Y'all can't get, but now all of a sudden, well, it was because of a faulty plane. We don't even know if the man is dead. The man could be alive somewhere. He could be alive. How you know? I wonder what Pooh gonna say. I'm waiting for this. Y'all brace yourself. This week is going to be an interesting week. I will say this much. It's going to be an interesting week. It's going to be an interesting week. It's going to be interesting. You know, you know what? Even though I talked about what happened with Congressman and calling her the built bad butch body. I even thought about it here recently. I said that could have been a distraction. They trying to distract us and get us caught up in the comics that happen within Congress, that we don't pay attention to the fly on the wall. No, that doesn't work anymore. We laughed at it for a second, but we're going right back to the news. It was a little comical moment where we had a second to laugh, but we came out there laughing. We said, we're back over here looking at this. It's interesting, all that happened, and then this happens. It's called distraction. Let's distract them. Let's make them laugh and start making songs about what they said about Marjorie Greene and everybody, and we miss the mark and don't pay attention to what's going on. And then all of a sudden, haphazardly, bam, the plane. I ain't saying that was the goal, but it's a little shaky there. It was funny. Yep, that was funny though. But I mean, when I say I laughed, but when I tell you, I kept saying, I feel like they're trying to distract us. I feel like this, y'all. Hold on. I can't play it because they're going to give me a strike. They've been striking the, can I cuss? Can I get one cuss word in? It's in the Bible. They have been striking the hell out of me for the past couple of weeks, so I'm going to be very careful. Hell is in the Bible. Hell is in the Bible, y'all. Yeah, they've been striking me. So I'm going to be very careful. I was going to play the part of the Wiz. Y'all remember the Wiz? When they were in the Wiz, I hate to sing, but I love to sing. It's funny. When Michael Jackson is there in the poppy fields, and Michael Jackson, Scarecrow's like, something ain't adding up, and they feeding them full of poppies. And he's like, y'all, this is a setup. That's how I feel. They want us to go back to sleep. You know what? And again, I'm not saying that was their goal. No. What happens is they could have easily said, "Oh, that's the funniest thing. Let's make this mainstream." Because I don't think that Jasmine and Marjorie had their plan like, "Oh, we're gonna argue in Congress." What I think happens is they find the most funniest thing and make it mainstream so people can focus on it. And then guess what happens? I'm gonna focus so much on that, I'm gonna ignore what happens over here. But yeah, I don't think that can happen. I don't think that could happen. So I got me some juice. Sheila won't talk about me. But y'all, I kid y'all not. This seems a little fishy. All of a sudden, Friday, we laughing about this, and then bam, the plane. No, I don't want to talk about Marjorie Greene and the Jasmine lady no more. That's old news. We finna pay attention to this. Pay attention, y'all. I'm telling y'all, redirect your focus, and I know we are. Pay attention to what's going on, because something is brewing based off this. This right here is I really, in my hearts and my spirit is saying, this is going to be something that's going to turn ugly fast. We're going to see it play out, because I just feel like this. I don't know. I'm just sitting here like, you had all of the major government officials of Iran on the same plane, which doesn't make sense. Check, that doesn't make sense. So check, that doesn't make sense. Why would you have all three of them on one plane? That's not safe. Then all of a sudden you can't find their bodies or the plane, or you can't find them. They're missing. I ain't gonna say bodies because they haven't declared them dead, but you can't find them. They're missing, and you can't find the plane. But we all of a sudden say, oh, the plane had faulty parts possibly. Because you know what? Because of the sanctions, U.S. didn't give us parts, which led to him getting in a plane that has issues. Still doesn't make sense. Why would you go get the most raggedy plane in raggedy helicopter? Quit saying plane, but most raggedy helicopter. Throw all your major officials on that helicopter, and the other two helicopters that's following you are good, and they make it. And then if you knew it was faulty, y'all knew it was faulty before he got on there. So check, that doesn't make sense. All the news outlets are saying the same thing. All of a sudden, a script was written to say it's this, everybody. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to play the game. Everybody say it with me. Faulty helicopter, or faulty parts that caused the helicopter to crash. And they said, okay, this is what we're going to say. Now, let's go. Bam. That's how we're going to move. CNN, Al Jazeera, all of them are saying the same things. How do y'all know what it is? That doesn't make sense. Some ain't adding up. Then, not to mention, another thing that's questionable. I'm just calling out the questionable events that happen that make me question everything everybody's saying. It was three helicopters. One with your president in it crashes. It went from hard landing to crash, back to hard landing. Crashes, but y'all keep going. No, you finna stop and figure out where this person is. You finna stop and figure out what, and Karis, you're welcome to come up here, Karis, but you will stop and figure out what's going on and investigate the situation. But you keep going. And three of your major officials are on the same helicopter. Wow, this is interesting. This is very interesting. It's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. It's too many questions that will go unanswered. But the thing is, the times have changed. People are no longer being fed information and just going with it. People are now asking questions of, well, why would you put your president on a plane that has faulty parts? Since y'all have already identified that this plane possibly had faulty parts, why would you put your president, your governor, and your prime minister on this plane? That doesn't make sense. Why? They have a lot of questions to answer. How do you know that it's faulty parts? Why? How would you know that if y'all haven't found, if y'all have not made it to the site yet? This helicopter all of a sudden has faulty parts and crashed, and the president is missing, but we haven't made it there yet to even do the investigation. because all of a sudden the weather is, that's another question. The weather is bad and visibility is low. So if visibility was low, all three, I would assume that all three of the planes would have had problems. And then a pilot would not get into would not fly in something that has low visibility. So all your pilots with the helicopters decided to fly. Typically what happens is we'll stay overnight until we can get better visibility. They're not stupid. Iranians are not stupid. Don't play them like they're stupid, like they're going to get out here and they don't have proper training to know when to fly and when not to fly. Come on now. It's too many holes in this story before we get the story. Y'all can't find this man. Y'all can't find this man all of a sudden. But what I can't get over is all three are major diplomats, from the president to the prime minister to the governor, all of a sudden are on the same. You got 3 helicopters. Why are all 3 of them on the same helicopter? Why not spread it out? Because in the US, the vice president and the president will not be on the same plane or the same helicopter. Why would all 3 of them be on the same helicopter? Why not put one? You got 3 helicopters and 3 major officials. Why would you put them on the same? Something not adding up. I'm sitting here listening to it. I'm like, yeah, that doesn't add up. There's just so many holes here. 3 major officials on the same helicopter, but you have 3 helicopters. Especially in the middle of something what we consider to be wartime. We're in technically what we call wartime. If we're in the middle of wartime, you would ensure, just in case somebody tries to shoot bombs at that one, that you all stay in 3 separate helicopters. It's not like we're in a peacetime where everything is good. We're in the middle of something called technically wartime. Why would y'all put them all 3 on the same helicopter? Y'all, please pray I don't come up missing with all this stuff that I'm asking. But I know TikTok finna be lit right now asking the same questions. But we're in the middle of wartime. Another question. All 3 of your major officials are all on one helicopter. You got 2 other helicopters that's there. So why wouldn't you put the prime minister, the governor, and the president? And they said it was other officials on the helicopter as well. Some ain't adding up, saints. Some ain't adding up. Y'all, if I come up missing, y'all know why. Just remember this. Pass the word. If I come up missing, say because she opened her big mouth. Saints, get on the major networks and say, wait, she said this, and I'm just saying, I'm joking, y'all. But if I come up missing, download this video. I know Aerospike is downloading the video right now. I'm just saying. No, he ain't. I'm just joking, Aerospike. But download this video, y'all. Y'all, something is just, it just doesn't, it's not. I know y'all's hand is on me. I ain't going nowhere. I know. I'm not going nowhere. But that's just not, something ain't adding up, y'all. 3 major delegates, 3 major officials on the same helicopter. You got 3 helicopters during wartime. At the time of war, when we're in the middle of a war, on a faulty plane during bad weather. Make it make sense. Saints, make this make sense. I'm sitting here laughing. And I know I keep repeating this because I keep saying, and do y'all think we're that stupid? Y'all think we're really that stupid, saints? So let's and y'all still ain't found them yet. Let's add that there. But Putin is somewhere in the cut. Like, okay. See, they keep forgetting that there is someone sitting there that's watching everything that's going on. And you don't think Putin ain't talking to China and saying this? They looking at the same things that we looking at. You don't think that they ain't sitting there saying, y'all playing games with us? Y'all playing games with us. What's going on, Karis?
Hello. Testing. Testing. Can you at least hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh boy. Uh-oh. Give me a second.
Okay. So while we wait on Karis, anybody else that wants to join? Sheila, anyone? I know Sheila, you can right now. If you can, come on. Ruhuma, anybody, Eric, anybody y'all want to join for the last 30 minutes? I'm going to open the floor for people to join and add their insight to this, because it's just, I actually see that this week is going to be a very sensitive week. I'll say that much. It'll be a very week that they're going to have to watch what they put out in media. They're going to have to watch what they say. They're going to have to watch Putin. They're going to have to watch Xi Jinping. I hope I'm saying that right. Who is the president? I think that's it. Right. I always say them. They're going to have to watch China. They're going to have to watch North Korea. They're going to have to watch all these countries. All these countries. They're going to have to watch what comes out in the outlets, because if one is off from the other, it's going to ask questions. It's going to cause questions to arise. They're going to have to watch other medias like TikTok, which they don't have control over TikTok. So guess what? TikTok can be able to push information quickly. Don't think that Putin don't have an account possibly with TikTok. So it's going to be interesting. Hey, can you hear now? You can hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
All right, how do I sound? I'm trying to make sure these headphones are.
Oh, you sound good. You sound real clear.
All right. Well, shalom, Sister E. Haven't gotten in touch with you in a while. You know the schedule, but I said let me go ahead and see what's going on, and I jumped on in. I'm not surprised with everything that's happened throughout this world that we see this today.
Yep.
Now and I think a lot of people have to kind of focus on what's happening throughout the world. Well, it was crazy. I was just in Burkina Faso little over a week ago, and then I'm told earlier about a couple hours ago that Burkina Faso there was another coup attempt to overthrow President Captain Ibrahim Traore. And that was because you just had Senegal that had released video that they're joining the Sahel states, the African Sahel states. And so, there's a growing influence, and I'm not going to say by Russia or Iran or China, but there's a growing influence just to de-Westernize. And when you have that practice of de-Westernization, right, it's going to be met with that's the pushback.
You're impacting status quo. You're impacting the normative. I'm the dominant culture, and the dominant culture is being flipped upside down now.
Mm-hmm.
And
go ahead. Sorry,
and the Western culture has always been the dominant because of a level of sleep that we're in. We can't see what's really going on. But now the dominant culture, which is Western civilization now, is deemed as the bad guy, and they don't like it. So I agree with you.
So there's another key thing that happened, and that happened in Gaza with the quote unquote aid from the U.S. Do you all realize that, right? The U.S. has quote unquote aid shipment
going to Gaza.
Going in Gaza, and guess who's bringing in that aid shipment? U.S. forces. Surprise, surprise.
Correct.
So my contention is, right, before there was any type of play or retaliation, there was probably some sort of a, hey, just to let you know, if we don't get you now, we can get you if you're trying to give us some pushback on going into Gaza. Because let me tell you this, if the U.S. forces, this is not if, because the U.S. forces are there, that just tells you that anything that they're saying about Gaza, that narrative is a lie and has been a lie. They've been losing that in that place since day one. And the reason that they're losing there is you have U.S. troops on the ground. Plain and simple.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And the thing is this, we have a situation as well. Hey, Chantel.
Shalom.
Shalom. But we're in
Shalom to everyone in the chat.
Shalom. But the interesting part of this is, and maybe I'm looking at it from another set of eyes. The U.S. is trying to save face right now, and I think you said that they're trying to save face.
Mm-hmm.
So they're saying we're gonna go in and provide food to the Gazans, the people, the Palestinians that are in Gaza right now, because is the aid going to Rafah?
Listen, we don't know where that aid is going, you know, and yeah, and they could say, well, we're staging the aid, right? I look at it. Look,
I'm confused.
Straight military.
Why would they go to Gaza and they're starving in Rafah? How far is Rafah from Gaza? I think you did.
Well, Gaza is actually the territory. It's that strip.
Uh-huh.
Rafah is located in Gaza. So you have the West Bank, which is towards your where they call the Jordan/Yarmouk River, over in eastern Israel, and then on the west in the Mediterranean Sea area, that is Gaza. And so their capital, just like you have Jerusalem in the West Bank, their capital is Rafah right there in the Gaza Strip. And so the Mediterranean is where the U.S. ships had docked in order to build their port so they could say that they are providing aid, right? So whatever that coordination is of the aid, you know, however they're stating it or mentioning it, I don't know who's coordinating that, because I'm going to tell you, USAID, that's not going to be in play. UN, that's going to be treated very, very skeptically. So who is going to be there? International Red Crescent, you know, I don't know. And we don't know because it was just, hey, we're in there. What do you mean? You know what I'm saying? So prior military service, I would think of it as that this is some sort of a beachhead operation, that instead of having, you know, the Delta Force or the SEALs do some sort of, you know, over the water operation to get to the land. Well, forget all that. It's just, you know, bring your stuff on over and then call it aid. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Bring in all your you know, armaments and things of that nature, and there's aid. So therefore, you know, I mean, call me a skeptic. I don't care what you call me, but I look at it like this. That's the reality of the situation on the ground. You know? Yes. Oh, in this aid, it's also, you know, military and policing actions, because we got to make sure that the aid, which may be only like, you know, 2% of what's brought in, makes it to the people. But the other stuff, that's just for our security and other security. I mean, come on now. We learned this game.
And you know what? And somebody said, call your Koba. Let me text you, Koba. Koba's probably somewhere taking a nap. I'm finna text. I'm not even finna go through. I'm texting him now, y'all. Not over Facebook, his cell phone. And I'm trying to see if he's busy. If he ain't busy, I'm gonna make him get up here with us. But
this is big. I mean, I do want to re-emphasize to all those in the listening audience in the Hebrew community, this is big, because you know what we see. This is happening. I want to touch on this tomorrow, but but this is happening honestly because, you know, for their dream got shattered. Their dream of, You know, what did Trump say? Trump said, if I'm in office, we're going to put a stop to Xi and Putin, you know, being friends and being buddy, and we're going to stop and we're going to pry apart Russia and China. And that didn't happen last week. Xi and Putin embraced. They embraced like brothers. So now that tactic is off, and that scares the West. Remember a few days ago, Janet Yellen said, well, there's going to be consequences for China if China's involved or doing whatever they're doing with Russia. All of these things were happening. And so now the lesser parties, Iran and probably North Korea is next. You know, who knows what that mishap is going to be. But when they figure it on out and they don't want to do the political ease and things of that nature, that's when it starts to get scary.
Yeah. And he did respond to me, Yacoba. So I told him we on the live. So hopefully he can join us and get on here as well. But I think, and tell me what your thoughts are, Karis. And Chantel, chime in. You're welcome to chime into the conversation. I think with all the stuff providing aid and saying that they're not going to send, you know, the U.S. also said here recently that they're not going to send any more weapons to Israel. I think it's a ploy to attempt for America to save face, but the damage has already been done. But now all of a sudden you're going to send aid. You want to support Rafah. And all that. I think it's just a campaign moment to save face, because one thing Biden that came to the realization of, I got a whole presidential campaign that's coming. We're going to get a new president in 2025. So let me hurry up, because now everybody is turned on the Democratic Party and said, now we're going to go back looking at Republicans. And again, I think it's a ploy right now, because the politicians are now trying to save face. So yeah, let's pull back weaponry. Let's provide aid to Gaza. Let's do this. Y'all wasn't doing it at the beginning.
No, and it's a double-edged sword, right?
Yes.
We give aid to Gaza. We look good. We give aid, and Gaza still attacks us because the Gazans know who ultimately is allowing for this to happen, which is the U.S. And then the U.S. gets attacked, and it's like, see, right? The savages have attacked us, and we were just trying to be nice. Now look at that. They're calculus. I'm telling you. If you didn't know how they do us, understand how they're trying to do that formula for the rest of the world.
Yes. So I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how, like I said, this week is going to be one of the most sensitive weeks that I think it can either shift the narrative left or right. Either it can shift the narrative and people will say, okay, yeah, it was due to faulty parts, Iran, I'm going to put the puppet in place and the puppet is going to keep business as usual. Or it can shift all the way to the other side where Russia and China says, no, hold on one second. How are y'all going to pull this off and think that we ain't finna call y'all out on y'all BS? I think and what can happen is this is major. Like, this can turn into a war overnight.
And to be quite honest, so what just happened earlier this week? We had the ICC.
Yes, I was about to talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, come on. I mean, look, we could be talking about this for literally like a 24-hour marathon. For real.
Yes.
You know, like everything literally just happened this week. And, you know, I'm like looking at things. I'm pulled to the side in four corners of everything. And I'm like, dang, I said, I should talk about this. Dang, I need to go on that, you know, but it was just like Biden time. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm saying is ICC now with the warrant, and then BB, I'm gonna call him BB, all of a sudden said this is anti-Semitism, and we're warning you that if you do this, we're gonna give you you and your family problems. Pretty much.
Yeah. And who do they say it through? They said it through the U.S. mouthpiece.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, they'll see what they're gonna offload. And you know, if I'm on over there as Hamas or some sort of a Hezbollah proxy. I'm going to see everything that they offload. I'm going to be just doing all sorts of surveillance. And then I'll be biding time to attack. And it'd be like, look, I'm sorry, but rice and, cooking oil isn't supposed to go up in flames in a 10-story column of fire. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what type of Western oil that is, but man,
Ain't it? Y'all been asking for Yacoba. Yacoba is here. Yacoba, they've been wanting you to come up here. You've heard what happened.
Shalom, Yacoba.
Shalom, Yacoba.
What's up, Sister Chantel, Kara, Sister E, family? How y'all doing?
Did you get my exceptionally long message?
Oh yeah, I enjoyed it. It was good. Encouraging.
Well, I just wanted to say one thing though. So am I to believe that the president of Iran he is no more?
That's the way they're playing it in a very diplomatic way. They're trying to say
okay.
Right now.
I find that very interesting because I was watching Canadian Prepper. When was it? A few days ago, and he mentioned, it's so funny because as I was listening, he mentioned all four of them, and my ears just perked up. He said Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea. And I was like, oh, they've assembled. I've never heard anybody, me personally, I've never heard anybody call them out all together like that. But when he said that, I was like, okay, so the four carpenters have assembled. And I'm thinking, what is going to be the answer? Because I know for a fact that these nations watch us. They know prophecy. They know it just as much as we do. They just don't understand how things are going to play out exactly, but they are definitely watching us. And as I was watching that and I heard that, I thought to myself, okay, something's going to happen. What's going to happen? How are they going to answer back? Because I knew when I heard that something was going to happen. And now hearing that he is no more, along with others in his cabinet, I'm like, oh, okay, they're doing something. And now I'm thinking, are they going to try to do the same? I mean, they tried to do the same with Putin anyway.
Mm-hmm.
With what was his name? The other guy that he had issues with, and they're no more.
Is it Navalny? Navalny you're talking about?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, there was quite a few that had. Yeah. So me personally, I kind of believe that the West's fingerprints is all over this. That's how I just see things anyway. It just feels like them. I mean, we've seen them. This has their signature all over it. There's too many KG things. So I just wanted to add that.
That's interesting. And I agree with you. It's too many holes there for you to be like, okay, this makes sense. A plane crash had happened with all of the Iran cabinet involved in it on one plane, on one helicopter. The helicopter happens to crash with two other helicopters behind it or with them within the envoy, and they make it out all right, but this one happens to crash. All of a sudden the weather is bad. It's just not adding up.
Sister E, that's the pretext to Lost 2.
Yep.
The Four Carpenter Chronicles.
So yeah, I think it was Mossad, because Mossad is always messing with Iran and taking out their leadership.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, like I said at the end of my show yesterday, this thing is crazy. It's getting hot. I know Karis know this about the Russians conducting missile tests off the coast of California. And that's just a straight up message that, hey, y'all keep doing what you're doing and watch what happens. We right here, right? And I think we days to months to a tactical nuke being used. And not to mention that, that whole issue in Ukraine when supposedly Ukraine attacked Crimea with those Scalp and those Shadow missiles, which is, one is from France and the other from Britain. And, Russia talking like, okay, well, we know y'all can't launch those, right? We know it was Britain launching those missiles and France, and we got a response coming. So, I don't know what to say other than I hope you know the Most High.
Hey, Yacoba, let me. I got a couple of points to respond on that one. I don't think it's days, months. I think it's actually, I think hours, to be honest. And the reason I say hours is simply because within 24 hours, Zelensky is actually not a credible player anymore in Ukrainian politics. His term actually ends. So with that being said, the West, they're having issues and they need to rally. I think a tactical nuclear weapon, this is my opinion, I believe that we'll probably have a tactical nuclear weapon within the next, I'm going to say this, probably within the next week. Because then, why? It shifts the focus on the legitimacy of Zelensky. And if folks are talking about legitimacy, then you're going to ask about, well, how do we even negotiate? Can we even negotiate? Well, let's just have this big old boom fireball. Oh, look, somebody detonated a fireball. We don't know who it is. And then it starts the news cycle and the spin. And Yacoba, I was wondering when you're going to bring out that Apocrypha, because you already know. Come on, Yacoba. You know the scripture. You know the chapter.
Second Ezra 15. That's a
it
staple.
does fit this scenario very well. So
and the interesting thing is this, like you said, it's going to have to be something staged to kick us into a war. Right now, everything is still kind of simmering right now. Even with this, what has transpired with the Iranian president, it still kind of kept us at a simmer. Something has to happen to make it boil over. And I was wondering, I said, like, great example, 9/11. Caused it to kick off, caused the war to kick off for Gulf War. Same thing with World War II. Guess what happened? Something major called Pearl Harbor had to happen for us to really kick off and put the U.S. in the fight. So that's why I'm sitting here like, what is going to happen? But weird thing is this, pay attention. Both times happened within the U.S. World War II, Pearl Harbor. Gulf War, here in New York. Please don't say New York is finna get hit, y'all. I'm getting ready to leave. Just letting y'all know I'm leaving in a couple days. I'll be out of here for a while. I'm taking a break.
Iran is already upset with America over their general with Trump. So it's not really going to take much. And they're already suspicious of the whole world is really, if we're going to be honest, and this country. They join hands together and do some really nasty things. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be much. At the very least, a lot of people are going to be protesting, angry in the streets of Iran. So I wouldn't be surprised if that happens.
So, Sister E, you going on vacation?
Yep, I'm going on a long vacation.
How long?
I'm leaving. I'm gonna be gone for a couple of months away from here.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Smart move.
I'm going to go check up on my mother, but for other reasons, I need a little break. I need to see what's finna happen. So yeah, I'm gonna be gone for a couple months, and I'm gonna do some road trips too because I need a break. But yeah, I'm gonna be gone for a little bit. Yep, I'm gone. Yeah, they won't see me until the fall. I'm gone for New York for a little bit.
That's good because I think just my gut feeling that they're gonna hit this nation hard in terms of lockdowns and securing borders and restriction to food stuff and resources. And I think part of it is going to be the COVID agenda, because apparently Singapore has another wave of COVID. Then I heard that bird flu is in New York, but y'all also know bird flu is supposed to be here in Texas as well from the cows, right? So you got bird flus from the birds going to the cows, from the cows to the humans. I mean, come on now. If they think we believe that's natural, they out there cotton picking mine, right? But this is warfare on humanity.
Yep.
And it really saddens me that a lot of people don't know Yeshua, and there's not much we can do, right? And it's in the Most High's hand. But like I said in some of my shows, when I read in the Apocrypha, a grape from a cluster of grapes, a plant from a great forest of those who are going to be saved. That's sort of concerning, because you see a lot of people and they think they know the Most High, but they don't. Right, and they're not obedient, and they don't obey the word, but they say, "I believe in Jesus." No, you don't, because if you did, you'd obey.
You're right. You're right. The crazy thing is this, Jacob. What's crazy is, and at first I just messaged Teo to tell him if he got a moment to come up here, because y'all two, both of them, I'm gonna tell y'all something. Jacob and Teo, I'm gonna get a message at least once a month of, sis, when are you leaving? Sis, when are you leaving?
Nah, not really, because I stopped bothering Sister E, because Sister E don't listen to me.
I do listen to you. Don't do that. I do listen to you. But they both be like, when are you leaving? And I just, all this stuff going on, y'all, this is the first time, y'all know me. I'm like the one that the whole ship has to be on fire for me to be like, yeah, something going on.
The building gotta be on fire, the roof on fire, then she gonna leave.
I'm that person. And my spirit has been real uneasy for the past month. I'm like, yeah, I'm getting ready to go. Because and the good thing is everything happened the way it needed to happen. My lease is ending right when the summer starts. My mom, I want to go check up on her, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna make a mad dash to Tennessee and go check up on my mom, and I'm gonna hang in Memphis for a couple months. Probably go to LA if LA is fine, to go visit other family members. I might swing through Texas, so I'm planning a big road trip soon. So I'm like, I'm getting ready to go. But while I'm in the process of going, some is like, pack now. It ain't even a doubt or a question to say so. Some is just saying, leave now. I'm gonna be honest, y'all. And I am not, and GA, I'm going by GA to Georgia. But some is just saying, leave now. And Brew Queen and them can tell you, because I'm involved with their prayer call. That it's just been like, I got to get out of here. And I don't want to put fear in anybody. Y'all know me. I'm the last person in the room. But it's just, this is bad right here today. This is not good. And if the right person gets a hold to it, or if, let's say, Russia says enough is enough, or China says enough is enough, the target is not going to be Texas. It would be here. It would be.
I keep thinking about Leave the World Behind, to be honest with you.
Yes.
It's literally been playing in my head over and over again. Every time I think about New York and every time I see whatever's going on. There's a guy that I watch on YouTube, and he talks about everything that's going on in New York. And I'm like, man, Sister E's still there.
But we got other people that are here.
It's crazy.
We got to keep everybody in, because I think Eric is here. I think Eric's here in New York. Or I really believe if you in New Jersey, you good, because you over the water. You over New Jersey. But we got people like, Only Love that's here. You got people like Zion Lex that's here. You got people like, I think Eric is here. It's quite a few Hebrews that we watch online that are here. So let's keep them in prayer, that the Most High tells them, because I don't want to put fear in somebody, and then they hear and they freaking out and they like, I got to go. I just want to tell them that it's just something telling me I need to go for a little bit. So, and then you got, a couple other people here that's from New Jersey. So, in New York. Yeah, my uncle, Baran is in upstate. He ain't in the city no more. He in upstate New York. So I think he's in upstate New York. So, but this is going to be interesting.
Yeah, because that'll start getting real crazy. And you know what would actually end up happening? You know, when people are like, oh, it's a cyber attack's going to happen and this and that and then a bomb. Nah. They'll just blast you with the hypersonic and then you look. You ain't going to
Call it a
you're
day.
not yeah, call it a day. Why? Because you're not going to be able to muster up an attack. And if you muster up an attack, then you're going to be looking even crazier to your people. And it's like, that's all you wanted. And you got all these folks that's here that's trapped in rubble and everything else. And you're talking about that you need to do an attack. The government could literally collapse within like literally 24 to 48 hours.
Your government.
Yeah, the U.S. No, not
Yeah.
no, the U.S. No, for real, the U.S.
Britain too.
Yeah, and Britain, because Britain would panic. Because yeah, the UK would literally panic. Because
Oh, they
it's like,
hate Rishi Sunak. They hate him. And then you've got they really can't stand their government. And then you've got the mayor, which is what's his name? Sadiq Khan. So you see where this is, why the British really don't like it. You know, they didn't choose this. They are so, our word. They really didn't choose this, and they really don't want it, and they want them gone.
Mm-hmm. So, Jacob, I'd like to ask you, in your prophetic timeline, what the things kicking the overdrive?
Overdrive wind on the. What do you mean on the timeline?
Oh, I said in the prophetic timeline. When folks are asking, like, they always try to ask, well, when we leaving, where we going? I mean, I could only say, like, look, you just gotta do the work.
Yeah,
do the work. The twinkling of an eye. You know what I'm saying?
So like, I think you probably do like me, right? More of looking at the signs and spiritual discernment, and based upon what you know from scripture, you're like, it's close, right? That's the most you can say is close.
Mm-hmm.
That's sort of relative. But then I look at also at the African continent, and I see, that all of the Sahel Alliance is coming together and pushing the French out. And what's the Senegal president? He pushing the French out and wants to hook up with the Sahel Alliance. And to me, that's the true liberators. Maybe those guys are the four carpenters, and maybe it's not Russia, or maybe it's all of them. I don't know. But obviously we see the change happening there on the continent, which is in time for the prophecies of our Exodus, right? Because things had to change on the continent first for us to be received.
So let me kind of tell you, as being on the ground there, right? And a couple of different nations that was, there. You had what is it, Real Hidden Truth, or the for your
Real Hidden Light.
Real Hidden Light. Yeah, sorry. I knew it was Nick. But in terms of our people actually going up, going to the continent, showing up, talking to them, moving with them, and everything else, I'm going to tell you this. Okay, it's the politicians that have their hands tied with us. It's the politicians that have their hands tied with us. The rest of the continent wants us back. It's the politicians. Let me tell you.
That's because they're scared of the West.
Yeah, let me tell you this. I don't know if I said this. I said this story one or two times. Okay. As soon as I met President Captain Ibrahim Traore, we left the presidential palace. Everybody's on a high note and everything else. Yeah, all good. And then we go into other meetings, so they can do their presentations of investing and how to do a business in Burkina Faso. Somebody comes to me and he says, Karis, did you hear that the embassy, the U.S. embassy, tried to pull up and have Dr. Eric Kana go to the embassy right there during the conference?
Seriously.
Wait, go to the U.S. embassy?
To go, yeah, she was summoned.
Really?
Summoned. I hate when they do that.
She was summoned. Yeah, they had a driver there and everything else. And she played it off real cool. She said, I'll let the Burkinabe officials go. Because we're all there as private U.S. citizens.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? Look.
Getting involved as they always do.
Look, I wasn't there for politics. I'm there to create linkages because I'm there to promote business. That's what we do at Quest Unite Africa. We want to try to have those investment opportunities.
You know, Karis.
I already have my cover story. This is my cover story. I'm sorry.
Karis, you know that was like
I have
what?
to be in this room with all windows, all mirrors. I can't see nothing. No.
You know, Babylon got jealous and got upset like that other nation that was kicked out.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it was, because they weren't invited. Did you see that? Has anybody seen that video of that South African white man who said to this brother from your neck of the woods about you're not African American? Oh no, so you're African American. No, they don't even call them. He didn't even call them African American. He says you're Black American. You don't belong here. We don't want you here. And some of the Black people, I've got friends, Black friends, who say they don't want you here.
Mm.
And I'm like,
Hey,
they
y'all,
don't want you.
Yeah,
He
go
doesn't
ahead.
want you. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, when y'all get done, I want to go. They got a new breaking news alert coming from Fox News, but continue on. But yeah, they got a new breaking news, something that just popped up on my feed.
I was just going to finish off saying that they don't want us here or there because we know the oppressors. We know what they are. And they don't want us coming back because they know that we will rally up our brothers. That's what they're scared of.
Absolutely. Listen. I'm gonna tell you, I wasn't really jumping in. Like even today, I was still doing some stuff with in the background. Shout out to our folks at Quest Unite Africa doing the presentation for Burkina Faso. But I was still doing some things working in the background because these folks are furiously trying to get things taken care of. They're in a tizzy. They know, listen, they're striking now while the iron is hot. And that's not an exaggeration. We left there over a week ago, and now within 14 days, you now have Senegal saying, we're going to try and come online. And now you have these other nations that are trying to do the same thing because, let me tell you, they're talking in the background because let's just face it, they have European and Western overlords. That's how this works. Yes, they would love for us to come back and do and collaborate and come back together and have an understanding. But their overlords are not allowing them to. And they know that if they get out of line, if they buck, if they do anything else, then they're going to get, the D word, deletion, disappear.
The Iranian
destroyed,
situation.
You name it. You're going to get the D's.
So you saying the Europeans still have some level of influence over some of them leaders?
Not some level.
That's sad.
A lot.
Not some level.
That is so sad that you'll take all your minerals that you have and take their paper money. And their paper money has more control over you than the fact that you live in a continent that has every single mineral that if you ever shut your borders down, it would shut the world
down.
Down.
But a lot of these leaders are Freemasons. That's what we forget.
Yes.
A lot of these African leaders. But this is the time to shake off the shackles of the colonists because like New Caledonia, over there near Australia, now they're rebelling against France. And so I think this could cascade. And if it cascade, they won't be able to stop this thing. And I think it's all in line with us going home, right? There's going to be so much trouble that they can't stop us from going home, and they can't do anything anymore, right? Because right now they have a gun up against the head of each leader, right? And so each leader is sort of scared of doing anything unless you have cojones like Ibrahim. Otherwise, most of them little punks, right? Rudo, even like and I used to be a fan of Museveni, and I like some of the stuff Museveni say, but Museveni seems like he's part of the cabal as well. And so it's like you got to listen to him twice, because I don't trust him. I like him, sort of, his personality, but I don't trust him.
I'm sorry, Sister, because I know you're trying to get to this, but I've always said this, and I know Lukoba has heard me on this. I said, look, I believe that our going home is because it's a political move made out of desperation, because they're about to get cut off from the resources.
That's interesting, because I see the resources being given back to us because the world stage is pissed off, and because you got to think about the Western colonizers have just about tried to colonize every single nation, and these very nations now have gotten some of their power back, and now they're getting ready to come at the Western nations because they're sick of the European Union. Let's just be honest. The European Union is bred in colonization. So I was thinking this: the strike back for them, if the UN stands up and says you got to give reparations. It's going to be within the world court systems, and if that happens, do you realize how much it would have crippled the economy here and everywhere else?
Oh, they ain't gonna pay no reparations. They're gonna be like, we'll give you reparations on a Carnival cruise line that gives you 2 free drinks at the bar. Peace.
You know what? I love seeing Macron sweat. I absolutely love seeing him sweating, knowing that he's getting kicked out and he's losing his power. That's like the icing on the cake.
Man, so let me play this real quick because this breaking news just came out in reference to the event.
White House says it is monitoring. Erica, thank you. We have a Fox News alert for our viewers now. The White House says it is monitoring reports of a helicopter carrying Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi suffered a hard landing. This is according to Iranian state media. A search is underway.
Trying to water it down. Hard landing. Hard landing.
They just had the EU turn on their emergency GPS system to help them do a search, and now they got their secret services out there doing searches.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
Shalom, Big Red. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing
Trey
well.
Yankees live in southern Israel with more details. Trey, what more do you know from that angle?
Arthel, good afternoon. We are following breaking reports indicating that the helicopter that was carrying Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi crashed in a mountainous region in northern Iran. We don't know much about what happened. We do understand at this hour there are search and rescue teams deployed across the area amid bad weather conditions, searching for the Iranian president and the country's foreign minister, who was reportedly on board that aircraft. Earlier today, Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi was in neighboring Azerbaijan, meeting with the country's president before this reported crash took place. And we do understand, according to Iranian state media, they believe this happened as a result of bad weather conditions in the area. There was a convoy of 3 helicopters. 2 of those helicopters made it to the destination in Iran. The third does remain missing at this hour. State media has asked civilians across Iran to pray for the country's leader. And at this hour, again, we do not have any information on where the helicopter crashed exactly, but this helicopter is missing in a mountainous region in Iran amid bad weather conditions. Arthel?
Well, it's definitely an alarming report you have there, but I think the most important item that you did mention, that is, according to Iranian state media, first of all, and also that it was perhaps the crash is due to bad weather. So at this juncture, no indications of foul play.
Absolutely. There are no indications of foul play at this point.
We're
As we
trying to
cover
clean
this
that up
developing
quick.
story, there are questions, though, about what this means
There's
for
some points.
Iran as a country amid a very delicate security situation across the Middle East. And the short answer is that it doesn't really affect the operations of Iran when it comes to a national security level, despite the fact that there is a massive story unfolding right now with the helicopter belonging to Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi missing, along with the country's foreign minister. And when you look at the Iranian political structure, at the very top, you have Iran's supreme leader, the Ayatollah Khamenei, who ultimately makes the decisions both militarily and politically for Iran. So this is certainly a story that the entire world will continue to follow. But again, we have very limited information about what exactly took place. At this hour, we can report that the helicopter that was carrying Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi, along with the country's foreign minister, is missing in northern Iran. And at this hour, we understand it is nightfall in Iran, and there are search and rescue teams on the ground looking in foggy conditions for this helicopter crash site. Arthel?
And Trey, and again, Iranian state media is reporting this, so you would imagine the Ayatollah is aware of this information. Have we heard anything from that office yet?
We've heard very limited information, and it's coming from Iranian state media, as you noted. There were reports indicating that a special cabinet has convened to gather information about the search and rescue efforts. Neighboring Azerbaijan, where the country's president was earlier in the day, has offered assistance along with other Iranian allies in the region. There's an understanding that these rescue efforts will be incredibly difficult due to the terrain where the crash reportedly took place, in addition to the weather conditions, foggy conditions where this helicopter reportedly went down. We do understand that Iran's supreme leader, the Ayatollah Khamenei, is aware of what is taking place on the ground. We also, again, understand that there's a special cabinet convening to coordinate these rescue efforts. And Iran's health minister said that all medical facilities are on standby. They have deployed dozens of ambulances and rescue teams to this mountainous region. But again, according to Iranian state media at this hour, they have not located the crash site. Arthel?
Okay, Trey, I know you'll be working to get any statements from the Supreme Leader, and you'll bring them to us when you do obtain that. Trey Yingst, live there in Israel. Thank you very much for that update. Very unfortunate story.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page.
Any thoughts?
I was going to say he might be pulling a Jim Gordon from The Dark Knight, and he's going to pull up with a missile to America's head. I don't know. Maybe it's not real.
There's so much to chew on this. There is so much to chew on this, and now it begins to make sense. All right. If you can tarry with me for about 5 minutes.
Yep.
So remember, a couple of months ago, everything was getting going. Actually, not a couple months ago. This is just last month with the response, and a couple of news outlets had said, that there could have been a response from Azerbaijan because of Israeli, I don't know if I can say that, Eastern Mediterranean nations diplomatic ties with them, and how much they have an influence in that country. This was stated last month with that reprisal attack from, Israel supposedly on the Iranian, soil, right? And I had stated in there, I said, I'm still looking for the footage of any type of fallout or activities or anything else, because clearly you could see from, there are sources, there are capabilities that would allow for, explosions and other high resolution activities, electromagnetic disturbances that can be captured, right? And I had said this on my channel. I said, I don't think anything happened. I said, I don't even think they even had not one explosion in there. And so, remember that story quickly died. And, hey, they got their retaliatory strike, quote unquote. And I said, I don't think they hit them. I said, if they did do something, remember everything was in eastern Iraq on the border of Iran. I'm like, they didn't even touch Iran. Now, fast forward to today, and they're saying that they left out of Azerbaijan to where you can have means and motives and access to do a military operation to sabotage equipment. So the people going in there would know their flight plans, what's going on, ETAs, things of that nature, how they would cross. To me, it makes more sense that when we see all this and we understand and get to the bottom of this, because now the whole spy network is going on out in Azerbaijan. Hey, who did this? Who authorized this? Who's this? Who's that? Hey, you know what? If you give me about $10,000, I'll tell you what happened. If you do me this, I'll let you know that. I got receipts. I got screenshots of the cell phone. That's the burner that's supposed to be white remotely after I've received the message. But you know me, shoot, I'm going to have that there just for insurance. I guarantee within the next couple of hours, remember all these folks that are there, quote unquote, assets and everything else, they're probably running scared because they know we done messed up. And guess what? It's all about taking care of loose ends. So they may have thought that they were doing something innocuous. They may have thought that they were doing something that, hey, it's no big deal. I just need to do this or do that, or, leave the door open for this or that. Oh, yeah, they're running scared. Dang, I'm about to be dead here pretty soon or deleted. So no honor amongst thieves. That's all I'm trying to say. Especially no honor amongst, killers and murderers.
It's desperation.
It is. It's last minute because everything is not going. I don't think everything is going as planned. I don't think nothing is going the way they planned it to be. I think what has transpired that now that it's not going as planned, plan B or the next plan. I think everything that they implement and they end up shooting them in their foot or their feet rather. Because the West has never looked as bad at it that it has ever looked ever in life since the West has been the West. They've never got this much bad press. They've never got this much exposure to their true initiatives. So now, because typically, the Ukraine war, we would feed into MSNBC, CNN as our news outlets, and they would tell us what the story was. Same thing with Israel, same news outlets. What's going on is people have access to information. And this is the generation of questions. People asking these questions like, this ain't adding up. This don't make sense. So the more they try to fix it, they dig a deeper hole because it leads to more questions. It's leading to more questions. Like today, everybody's asking the question of some is not adding up. This leading to more questions. So with that being said, I think the more that they do things, the more it's going to dig into a deeper hole, and they're going to have to answer those questions, or someone who knows the answers to the questions are going to provide you an answer. Russia has never gotten this much exposure. When has Russia ever been to a point where we're beginning to say, okay, I ain't gonna say they ain't bad, but hey, West, y'all worse. Y'all put us in slavery. So what do we got to talk about? So you can't build a narrative no more. And I guess that's all I got to say.
They are operating with the same WS handbook that their fathers and their fathers' fathers and their fathers' fathers have handed down to them. So they've dusted it off and they're doing the same things that they've always done. And they don't realize that their blessings is over, that we are literally seeing TikTok is literally the fulfillment of the scripture where it says that you're being uncovered, your skirt is lifted. That's why we keep seeing so much of the things they do on TikTok, and that is why they want TikTok gone.
Yep. Yep. TikTok is their worst nightmare. TikTok is a company that's not based in the US, meaning they're not held by the protocols when it comes to censorship as the US. They're trying to censor it a little bit, but they still can't. They're still unable to censor it. Even the time that they plan to shut it down, you still don't have enough time. We're already.
And then it won't go away. It'll still be on people's devices. They'll just stop you from downloading it new. But what people will start doing is you'll have the most people learn how to hack you'll see the most people turn to Android because Android lets you do it. Apple doesn't. So you'll start seeing kids ditch Apple, go to Android because Android lets you side chain applications. That means you can install stuff that's not on your Android store. That's how I got Telegram. I got Telegram outside of the store because if you get it through the store, it's censored. But if you get the original one straight from Telegram's website, it's not censored. So they're just going to do the same thing with TikTok because it's revealing all their stuff. I mean, it's just like the other scripture, even with Sister Chantel, to compliment what she said is like, you're going to grow up and say that we have inherited lies. I see so many different young white kids on TikTok basically saying, this ain't true.
Yep. And even with the inheritance of lies, it's even now you see in the floodgate of who are the people. That's the biggest nightmare. Because now the people that you're saying the people are doing the things that they're doing, and now they're questioning the validity of them. But then you have the people over here, they're beginning to look at, wait a minute, y'all might be right. Look at these curses. Everybody tried to take us away from curses, but I don't talk about them because it is what it is. There's no other people that has endured this throughout time other than our people. So it's making people look at things, because I look at TikToks now of white people saying it. I don't, my folks already know it, but these white TikTokers are saying, wait, hold on, this is making sense. And they're pushing the narrative now. So I'm like, we ain't got to say nothing because they're doing it for us.
The funny thing is, though, is that they try to, you just said that they haven't got enough time. And that's so true. And it's almost like where they have said, okay, we're going to cancel TikTok in this amount of time. It's almost like the Most High is like, okay, I'm going to speed things up then. Right. And it's like everything is like whatever they do, the Most High has an answer. You can't keep up with him. He's already seen it. He's in the future. He's literally waiting for us to reach that point. So I don't know, man. They'll keep trying to do something, and the Most High is just literally checking them every time, man.
Sister Chantel, you literally said it, because I just really came on here because when y'all had said second Esdras 15, it had just smacked me, and I went into it, and I'm like, yo, this is legit what's happening. But there's two parts. What you just said in 13, it goes, let me start at 12. It says, Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that Yah shall bring upon it. They that till the ground shall mourn, for the seed shall fail through the blasting and hail, and with a fearful constellation. Did we not just see this eclipse that just went through the United States, specifically through the United States? This constellation, that was their warning. They, like she said, they trying to go away, but they have their warning. And now we about to get to the part where down in 28 you go, behold, a horrible vision, and the appearance thereof from the east, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon earth, that all they which hear them may fear and tremble. Let let me preface what I'm gonna say with this one real quick. Y'all stop falling for these fake prophets online. The prophecy's already been written. It's right there in the word. Like anybody that just get up and put a cloth on their head and put some fancy title on them, they stop falling for it because the Most High already said it. It's right here. The many chariots carried by the wind. Don't that sound like drones? You know where Russia's getting their drones from? Iran.
Yeah, big red. It's that fancy kitchen towel that they put on their heads. The hairband with an Alice band.
It's the antenna. That's how they hear from the spirit.
And you're right, Ray, because I noticed that. I'm like, this is prophecy. We've been living. If anybody, I'm gonna give this man props. Teo first. Talking about this. 2015.
Oh yeah.
Y'all remember Teo was talking about. I was following Teo before it was a system. I was following them and was watching them. My Sabbath was two people, Teo and Pastor Darby. Those two people. That was my entire Sabbath. That was my entire Sabbath. Before I didn't even know who Jacoba was. Didn't know who Teo was. But I was following them every Sabbath, and they was doing little things, and I said, "This makes sense. This is making sense."
Before they had lives.
Before we had lives, when they would just upload videos. Y'all remember? Y'all don't remember them. If y'all don't remember them days, I remember them days when there was no uploads, and you get an alert, and everybody would rush the video quickly. You'll see.
I remember the first time Jacoba read 2nd Ezra 15. I was like, "What is that? I need to find that." And when I found that, I was like, but he read from a different version. What version did he read? Because I wanted to see it. I wanted to break it down. And when I read it myself, I was like, and it became my favorite. It's literally one of my favorite chapters. So thank you, Jacoba.
You're welcome. I wanted to let y'all know that on War News, they state that Russian sources say that Iran president is dead. And they're stating that his helicopter was shot down by an anti-aircraft missile.
Oh boy!
If
they're reporting that, oh boy, that is a major nation state just telling you that their sensors and their capabilities are showing that they tracked weapons fire that then had a mid-air collision. So they're telling you that their sensors, their satellites are confirming what I just speculated.
Those pesky satellites, eh?
Wow, this is,
and they didn't even think about that. That's so funny.
And this was done over Iranian soil.
That's Mossad.
Oh my gosh!
Straight Mossad.
Only they would be so. Yeah, only they.
But you know, for me, I don't think Iran is going to do anything because, you know, like with the Mossad and everybody else in the U.S., they just keep deleting their leaders and they don't do nothing. And I'm like, okay, I understand, but I'm like, at some point you got to say enough is enough, right? But I don't know. I mean, we'll see.
Oh no, the people might call for it, man. There's only so much that they can take. They're going to feel like the biggest morons. I mean, they didn't do anything with their general. Nothing really happened a few months ago about a month ago when, you know, the whole thing with the drones and everything. And all they did was a little light show. I mean, it didn't really do anything. That really was an act of war, right? So they could have responded. They had every right to do that and then some. Now, I mean, come on.
What they're doing
do
is
something.
that they are playing the long game because what they were about to unleash on America, they want nobody to say nothing. They are going to bring the pain. This is Archduke Ferdinand 2024. This is bad.
Red, understand how Iran feels. Iran is always posturing and bolstering, right? They are always doing that. Always. If it wasn't for the retaliation, right? And the retaliation had to go because who was the biggest ones that was asking for the retaliation? It was the Iranian people. So
Sure.
that's why, that's why when you hear Russian sources, well, why didn't the Russian sources, give that on over to their high level folks and hey, do with it what you will? Because here's the thing, Russia's not playing that game anymore. You're either riding, right? Or you're going to get left behind.
Yep.
So that's why there's a report that was leaked for everybody to hear, including Iranian citizens. Hey, this is what happened. How do you know? Because you can infer we have some capabilities to track some things. You could take
So it was
or
Russia
leave
that
it.
leaked it?
Yes, that's what he just said on the war news.
Just like they leaked those icons.
Yeah, brilliantly played. Look, stop with your lollygagging. Well,
What were some of these white people saying on their on their TikTok videos? What is Putin playing at? What are you doing? You're trying to do something. We know what you're doing. We know what you're up to.
Hey, and don't forget, this is the same week too where we had that assassination attempt on Fitzo. That was just happening. I'm on this Telegram. Listen, they had May 7th. You had information about an assassination attempt on the Saudi prince of on the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. May 13th to the 14th, you had warnings about a military coup in Turkey. May 15th, you had the assassination attempt on Slovak President Michael Fico. Then 16th, you had the detention of a citizen who threatened the Serbian president in Vucic. And now you got today the helicopter.
Yep.
They've been going to war overtime with these folks all through the week. It's been happening almost every other day.
So, Red, who do you think it is? Ukraine, Israel, or the U.S.? I'm like,
This is the Khazars. This is Khazar written all over. They're desperate.
That's what it feels like.
They're desperate.
Yeah,
no, they are desperate.
It does.
Because right
But
now what they got going on in Rafah is messed up, and they know Iran ain't playing that in all them other countries. So now they trying to jump in and cut Iran off at the head to try to save themselves. They just really screwed themselves.
And
It's so funny. I was going to say something in regards to that. Sorry, Karis. I was just going to say, it's so funny how you say cutting off their head. I thought before they do something, they could go after them. But what difference would it make? Because if you go after them, you're going to have their big bully waiting in the wings. I've always thought that before they do anything, you have to get rid of that one first, because that one is the one that's supplying that one. I thought this about Ukraine because I thought that something was going to kick off because of Ukraine. I really didn't see this coming, but I kind of was hoping, but I thought it was going to be in Ukraine, but I always knew that if anything was to happen before they go, to eradicate whoever is causing them issue, they first have to get rid of that one, because that one is just gonna.
They're already held in check. You got to look at the bigger picture. They're already held in check. Why do you think Russia and China were kind of rolled out the red carpet, had a whole cheering band, got a whole hug from Xi Jinping? they got these folks and they got these folks in check. You got Taiwan straight. China about to move in over there. You got Ukraine. Russia just said, nah, we're not staying in Kharkov. They're doing the same thing they did 2 years ago I think everybody forgot. They blitzed and they were outside of Kiev within 3 days of them coming in. They were lined up out there setting up the routes and everything until they made that deal. And Russia said, okay, we'll pull back if y'all want to bring it to a deal. But they of course, it's America. They don't keep deals. So they're doing the same thing. So Ukraine's about to be just like what Karis had said earlier about that 24 hours. You probably, Zelensky is
Red,
right now.
Quick question, Red. So remember when they first was going to war, like you were saying, and they were doing exercises, and they're like, well, we're doing exercises, and then they went straight in. Right now, they're doing the exercise on the outside on the coast of California.
Defender.
Exactly.
Defender too, yeah.
I mean, is it possible we all about to get out of here?
Man, look, when I seen them sub coast, it gave me flashbacks. I remember where I was sitting in February. I said, I'm gonna remember this day because this is what they do. Nobody in Ukraine. I had just seen videos 2 days earlier from them interviewing people in Ukraine. Oh, nothing's gonna happen. Oh, everything's fine. Just like the folks over here. Just like everybody running around here. When we telling them, hey, y'all need to watch out. Oh, okay, going off like everything regular. And then next thing you know, boom. Your life.
We were just talking about that, wasn't we, Karis?
Yeah, exactly. Like everybody had like that pucker moment, you know, and then it's like, well, nobody told us. Well, of course nobody's going to tell you. You're cannon fodder. You don't tell the cannon fodder that they're cannon fodder. You know,
they're
it's
not
like,
going to tell you.
No.
Hey, hot sauce,
Especially-
hot sauce up here too, so y'all.
Hey, how's it going? Shalom, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well.
Good.
Shalom.
Well, as you know, I have a different opinion, as usual.
That's fine. I like different opinions. Let's get it cracking.
I don't think anything's going to happen.
I call Santonio up here if you get too far out there, hot sauce. I'm just joking.
All right. Well, I don't think anything's going to happen in the short term. America doesn't want war, and no country is going to attack America on its soil right now. I think Ukraine and Russia will probably be the war, but other than that, because China's not going to attack the U.S., U.S. is not going to defend Taiwan.
Say hi, so repeat that for me.
Thought 9/11 would happen, but it happened.
Repeat that for me again. So you said that the U.S. don't want war?
Yeah, the U.S. doesn't want war.
Okay.
Okay.
No, they don't because
what facts do you have?
Yeah. So the
well,
facts
I'm
that we
going to
had
get.
that
I'm about
so
to
you-
say it.
So you literally
Because
just had
even
the Joint Chiefs of Staff that actually
Yeah,
said that.
let hot sauce get
No,
it
go
out.
ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know. But maybe he knows something the Joint Chiefs don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Yeah, I'm trying to think back.
What was it? Iran bombed Israel, and they got a couple bombs through. Biden called Israel and said, "Nope, we not doing that. Right? Let's calm it down. Let's bring it down. We ain't doing that." U.S. doesn't want a war with Iran. U.S. also know that they can't win a war with Iran.
Biden don't want a war with Iran, but others do.
That's why when Israel wanted to retaliate, the U.S. said no, and the U.S. said publicly that we're not going to support you if you retaliate. Right? The U.S. knows it cannot win against Iran, especially when Iran showed two things in that bombing. Number one, it shows that it can get through missile defenses. Number two, it showed that it can not only can it get through that, it showed that this war will cost you. It was expensive. That's why Iran bombed in phases. It used the old drones and technology, very slow. Then it used the second generation, then third generation missiles, because they wanted to show a point. Not only can I get through your defenses, but it's also going to cost you.
Okay. So you're saying explicitly that the U.S. does not want to go to war with Iran?
They absolutely do not.
Okay. Now, all right. So I wanted to have the clarification because the U.S. wants to go to war in Ukraine. That's been stated.
Well, if they wanted to go to war in Ukraine, they would have done it already.
No, you can't, because how can you say that? Because I'm going to tell you, you have some of the lowest recruiting numbers ever. You have some of the lowest morales ever. You want to ask how I know? Because I was there in 2020 and 2021, and they were literally holding up my retirement because they didn't want me to retire.
That's another reason why the U.S. doesn't want to go to war. We don't have enough bodies. That's also to my point.
It doesn't matter. So what are they doing now with these immigrants, right? The Army commercials, say habla, they want to go to war and they have to go to war. Why is that? Our economy is literally a wartime economy. It's been that way for the last 30, 40 years. So yes, they have to. All this peace stuff is not good for business.
War doesn't make money anymore. War doesn't make money anymore. They didn't make.
Yes,
Have you been to
No, it
have
doesn't.
you been to the Sahel? Yes, it does.
It does.
You know,
War
and
doesn't make money anymore.
and that's
Bro, it
and that's
does.
really the
It's
that's
just
really
fought differently. That's what you don't
Exactly.
understand.
Let me
It's
play-
fought in
let
a
me
new
play-
way now.
I don't like saying devil's advocate, but let me play both. Let me talk on both sides. I kind of see where Hot Sauce is going. Not to say I 100% agree with him, but I see where he's going. I see that he's saying that the U.S. does not want to go to war because U.S. does not have the firepower right now that they used to have. Meaning, like in World War II.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm
Oh,
saying
okay.
that if they go to war, Iran showed that if you go to war, it's going to financially cost you.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. I agree with you. I mean, I don't agree, but I
Yeah.
see what you're
So
saying.
let me comment on that right quick. So if you look at what the U.S. did in Ukraine, right?
Mhm.
They used Ukraine as a proxy against Russia.
Bingo.
And the reason why they attack Russia is because the target is, as I've said in the past, is Africa's resources, right? And Russia is the only nation that has ever helped Africa throw off the colonizers. And so this is a global chess game going on. And so the whole idea that America is scared because they're going to lose because they don't have the strength they used to have is a misnomer, because when you think about what their goals are, their goals isn't to protect America or even to extend the reach of America anymore. The goal is this is a banker war. Right. So the bankers don't care about our lives, as you see in Ukraine. They didn't kill, what, 500,000 soldiers, right? For what? Right. And so it's the same thing here. Right. They don't mind killing off half the planet in order to gain control. And so out of this war is going to come the whole dialectic, right? The whole deception of we got to come get rid of all weapons, put it all under the United Nations. And I wouldn't even be surprised they bring in the fallen angels and demons and stuff, right? But this is the goal. They're going to bring the world to their knees, starting with America. So, I mean, the old ways of thinking about war is gone.
Well, that's what I'm saying to you. The old way of thinking of war is gone. Trying to make money through war is gone. Right
No,
now, what I'm saying to you is going to be more advantageous to actually colonize a country. That's why Europe is going over to Africa, saying, "Hey, we're coming to colonize you again," because the name of the game is land now, right? It's land now.
That was the name of the game before.
No, the name of the game before was oil.
But I think right now the situation is I think it's not just land now, but it's also stating who it's a power game right now. You got
Exactly.
Russia, you have Iran, you have all these countries now that are almost at equal playing fields with the US.
Right, because
And let me finish how so you can chime in. And I think, and I'm gonna let you talk. Y'all let him talk after I get done. But I think the fear is the power now. At one time, the U.S. was the major power, and they had different countries to be, I want to say, babysitters of the countries that they're fighting with now. I look at Ukraine was a babysitter for Russia, and Israel was a babysitter for the Middle East. And what's going on now? They're utilizing their babysitters to go out and fight for them because they need watchdogs. That's what they are. They're watchdogs now, saying, "Wait a minute, Iran getting too much power. Oh, they're watching." And what's going on now is these watchdogs are trying to fight a fight that they don't have the capacity to fight. U.S. doesn't have the capacity to fight it. Russia has firepower that they were not aware of. Iran scared excuse my language, the hell out of them with this last bombing because they were able to bypass the Iron Dome. Yep, I was trying to pull tail. The Iron Dome. You got China, who has a military system, meaning people are ready to fight, unlike the U.S. U.S. don't have that power anymore. People have gotten comfortable. The last major world war we had was our great grandparents, World War II. They were eager to fight because they had the men and the bodies ready to hit the boots on the ground. They don't have that anymore. So right now, the U.S. is in a position like, we got to do something and do something quick. We can't do anything, but we're going to use our watchdogs to go out and attack. And what's going on? They watchdogs getting beat up. Ukraine is getting beat up by Russia. Israel is getting beat up by Iran. They not getting beat up really by and the Palestinians are beating them far as being the foot soldiers. So they're in a situation right now where they're trying to figure out how to handle it. So I don't want to say they don't want to go to war. They're trying to figure out how they can go to war and come on top. And they really can't because everybody has nuclear bombs right now. Everybody. China has them. Russia has them. Iran has them. Israel has them. Everybody has. North Korea has. So it ain't like one. It's not like with World War II where the U.S. had the nuclear bombs and they bombed Hiroshima. No, everybody has it. So this can go bad quick. So the U.S. is in a bad situation right now that everybody, they can say, I can push the button. Russia said, I can push the button too. China said, I can push the button as well. And they in a bad situation. So I don't think that it's not that they don't want to go to war. They're trying to find a way to go to war where they can't lose. Because this is the first time the U.S. has ever been like this. And I hope that makes sense.
Well, I'm going to say this because, yeah, it does make sense. But I am going to say this because China changed the way you have to fight now. Right? China fights wars economically. Russia and Iran still fights wars militarily. On top of that, right, when you look at political influence and global influence, right? That's the whole point of China investing in Africa, right? To get more of a global issue on G7, more of a influence on G7 issues, right? And on top of that, the American people does not have an appetite to fight. Even with the immigrants, fine, the immigrants is there, but immigrants are not going to replace the American culture and idea of fighting. You're just not going to have that. So I'm not saying,
but they're not operating under the code of the art of war, the rules, and because Israel is
no. But what I'm saying is that immigrants are not sufficient to replace Americans when it comes to just bodies and government.
You're actually incorrect. But I'm going to correct you also on the fact that war has always been political with America. It's always been economic, rather. Everything that they've moved on has been economic. It's not been about oil. They tell you oil to throw you off the trail. Saddam Hussein was making a bank that was about to be backed by gold, invaded. Muammar Gaddafi was about to do the same thing, invaded. There were other nations in Africa, every leader that tried to bring their government away from America and print their own money.
What you're missing.
Inside. Let me finish.
Well, you cut me off, but go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were done. You had to continue.
I wasn't, but what your mission is that all those wars that we had, with the exception of the Vietnam War, we came out with a profit. And yes, you do fight wars because of political influence, but you also still war to make a profit. This war will not have a profit.
See, here's the thing.
Okay, can I say one thing, Jacob, and then you can jump in. Understand that this war is not about just profit; it's about power.
Bingo.
There you go.
Too many people got power.
You picked too short term.
But go ahead, Jacob. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So capitalism is dead, right? We can see that right now. Look at all of the corporations being destroyed. They're shutting down 400 of these stores, 600 of these. Capitalism is dead. What we're going into is the globalist socialist movement. And this is a new paradigm, a new power structure being put in place. And they have to destroy the old order to bring in the new order. So it's not the same criteria that they had in the past, where it's all about finances and corporations and taking money. No, because guess what? The corporations control everything already, right? So they don't care about that. They care about institutional, or let's say national power structures and the influence that they have over these nations. So the ones that, like, for instance, remember during the jabby jab time, right, when they took out the Haitian president, and then they were trying to go after the I think it was what was the island, Morris something, the little island in Africa.
Madagascar.
Yeah, thank you. Madagascar. They tried to take him out, but they stopped it because they couldn't control him. Same thing with the Haiti president. They couldn't control him. This is about control. This is about power. The old ways are over.
I was going to quickly say is that I agree with you. Also agree with Hot Sauce as well. The way that this war is fought is completely different, to the point that for me, my view, I kind of feel we've already been in a world war for quite a while. We just didn't know it. I see that the way that they fight wars is completely different. If you actually take a step back and you look, let's say you have a bird's eye view, just like as the Most High has, you will see that we are a world at war. We are in a world war. It's just fought differently, and you have different battles in different places, but it's a world at war. You have economic battles, you have battles of where it's just guns, and battles where it's just tanks. You have battles in terms of coups and everything else like that, but it is literally, it's a war. And in the middle of it, you have the Edomites. Yes, I still believe that they are the Edomites. We have these people, the eagles, who are literally lighting it all and sitting back and hoping that things are going to fall into their lap the way they want it to. But this is a world at war. It's just warfare is fought differently. We're expecting warfare to be fought the same way as it was in World War I and World War II. We're not like that. It's completely different. You have Cold War. You literally have the information warfare of information. You have so many different versions of warfare. It's like, but people don't even realize. And then you've got the greater war of it being a spiritual war, and they've opened up those gates and nobody understands what's coming through. We are at war already. It's just multiple different battles.
Yeah.
And
Sorry.
everybody's correct by saying it's for power, because this is why they're trying to keep themselves righteous in the eyes of the public opinion. This is why Russia is taking so many measured steps. This is why Iran is taking measured steps. You know, everybody gets mad and says, "Oh, they ain't doing it. Oh, ain't nothing gonna happen. Ain't nothing gonna happen." They're doing this they're posturing for the history books in the future. This is what they're doing. They're doing this because what we're not seeing, they're not just fighting over oil or land or anything like that. It's like everybody says, this is for power. And to have that power, you have to not only capture the minds today, but you have to capture the minds tomorrow. And if you position yourself and say that we are different from how they did those other folks, you got Americans right now that are sympathizing with Russia. You know how many fans Putin has in America?
And they ain't never happened before, ever in time.
Never.
Russia has always been the bad guy. They have
all of those movies. What a waste.
Yes.
Yeah, right?
Every movie they had Russia as the bad guy. But I've never seen so many white dudes that I talk to and look at that have sympathetic and say, "Yo, Russia's based."
Yes, I ain't never seen this before. Rocky. Who was he fighting against? Russia.
The Russian.
Yeah.
Movie has
Russian.
GoldenEye, Russian.
Yes.
Red October.
Where was Russia and Red Dawn?
That's it, Red Dawn. Sorry.
Yep.
All the 80s movies were against Russia. All the 80s movies. All of them.
But now you got situation where people are sympathizing because Russia is doing something like nobody. I'm gonna be honest. Can I be real with you? Ain't nobody really sympathizing right now with Ukraine.
Nope.
Nobody's really sympathizing because one, Ukraine is looking like a crybaby right now. He's whining. The president is whining for money. You can't fight your own war. We broke right now. No, we cannot send you 80 because right now they fighting at the wrong time.
Sister E, my country need money.
Yes.
Will the Hebrews give money to me, Sister E? We need the money. We love Hebrews.
And we need money.
I think the problem was.
Let me say one more thing, and then you can chime in, Hot Sauce. The reason that they're looking bad is because right now we're in a financial upheaval here in the U.S. People cannot afford to buy a carton of milk without saying, do I choose milk or do I choose gas? And they're looking at the U.S. and saying, why are you sending money to Ukraine? Let them fight their own fight. Well, the U.S. can't say, well, they can't tell us that they're truly fighting a proxy war because they're trying to watch Russia. But they got to say, oh, no, we got to help them. No, you can't give them billions of dollars. And y'all raising our taxes. Every time you raise our taxes, it's going over there. And it's not benefiting us. So really, nobody's sympathizing with Ukraine. They like, we sick of Ukraine. We ain't got no money. But what Russia is doing now is people are sympathizing with the Palestinian. So really, what Russia's doing with Ukraine, ain't nobody worried about that. But
so quick comment. 30 years ago, and I mentioned this on my show before, there was this white guy on the internet, during the time of the whole Alex Jones thing, and when the conspiracy theories were real hot. This guy said, and I remember it clear as day, he said the New World Order will flip the script. He said that the U.S. will become evil, and the Soviet Union or Russia will become the good guys, and that's just what we see today.
Yep.
US has always been evil, so
Ask
not much
yourself,
of a
though, in the
stretch.
Bible, how does Gog and Magog make it into the millennial kingdom?
That's it.
Well,
How do they make it into
well,
the millennial
that's
kingdom?
another thing I wanted to highlight. Another thing, right? And well, I want to say one thing before this. Ukraine lost a lot of international support when UK opened the doors for them, and they complained that there was too many black people there.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
That was all over
They did.
TikTok.
I remember
That
that.
was all over. Right. So they kind of shot their own self in the foot on that one. Right.
But you're black.
Yeah, so they kind of shot themselves in the foot on that one. And then the last thing, and I'll tell you can correct me if I'm wrong, but from my understanding, right, nothing happens until we leave, right? As far as war goes, as far as the destruction of America, like that happens after we're gone, not before.
It's happening now.
Then why are we instructed to get out of her if nothing happens?
No. Hear me what I'm saying. It happens after we out.
Then why the urgency to leave? Why the urgency to leave? If things are happening after, why the urgency to leave? And whether or not it
So
happens
we
before
can
or
leave
after.
so it can be destroyed. That's the
Well, yes,
urgency.
but the semantics of that, yeah.
doesn't mean that we have to be gone for her to get hit, right?
Exactly.
That may be the
Exactly.
motivator for our people to wake up and say, "I'm out."
No, I mean, correct.
Or
I'm
everything
asking
in
for
between.
Eric.
See, what
Oh,
you don't
wait,
understand
1
is
second.
America
Taylor, I'm
has-
asking.
You
I'm asking
preface
for
what
Eric.
you asked. You preface what you said. You preface what you said with "correct me if I'm wrong."
I said
That's what you started
Teo,
this.
not I said Teo.
Oh, we're
Correct
all
me if I'm
here.
wrong.
Well, obviously that's been done. But go ahead. Go ahead.
Wait a minute, y'all. Hold on. Breathe, everyone. I can't play that little thing that I play anymore, like the because I'm getting straight.
I've just been waiting patiently. I've been waiting patiently. But I hear Matt say, you want to say something.
So I will say this: hot sauce. Then I gotta let Teo, and then I gotta let Doug talk. We've all talked, and then after that happens, then everybody else can chime in. I do want to give the new people that come up an opportunity. So hot sauce, finish your point. But let's
No. It's a simple question. From my understanding, right? It says, you will observe her punishment, but the destruction is after we left. And if I'm wrong, I'm open to listen to either Teo or Yakoba. Thank you.
Why just Teo and Yakoba? Everybody else.
Because I
don't know.
Because
I
I hit too hard.
I don't know what Doug knows. He could be leading me to hell for all I know. I
Exactly.
I trust
Yes.
Yakoba.
This is true. I have a few
Hey,
visitations
Doug
I have
did
to
come to
make.
my house the other day and say, "Hey, Red, I got some tickets to hell. You down?"
Well, I don't know Doug like that. I know Yakoba's channel. I
And
watch Teo.
thank you. You took a few off my hands. I appreciate it. We're gonna mob out there and get some head straight and come back.
I figured I could resell them. Some folks might take it up on the offer.
Yeah,
Hey,
I
you
don't
know
know
what I'm saying?
them. I don't know them like that to be listening to them.
If hot sauce keep cutting up, I'm gonna get Santonio.
All I'm saying, I know I watch Teo, I watch Yakoba. I don't know these other people like that.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I would
Well,
say
that's
her
that's commendable. I recommend that you watch both of them before you watch me.
I
watch
would
you,
say
Doug.
America's
Doug, you are
destruction or
hilarious. Go ahead,
Babylon's
Teo.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, go
Yes,
ahead,
sir.
Teo.
Okay. Babylon's destruction is after we leave, but that doesn't mean she doesn't get hit while we're here, right? So that's the difference. Is her complete destruction. We'll have to be out of the land first. But I think we'll begin to see the things we've been accustomed to going away, and we're gonna start realizing there's no benefit being here anymore. You know, the American dream is over, and we're gonna be trying to leave. I think that's probably how it's gonna go.
Yeah, and Sissy, just 1 second, please. I agree with that, but so because my understanding is that it will be Iran that destroys America, so that's why I'm saying that that's how I'm kind of piecing it together, is because we leave before the destruction. And from my understanding, when it says I'll stir up the Medes to destroy her and there will be nothing left. So when I hear Iran and America going to war, I kind of piece that as the Medes. And that's how, just let you know, that's where I'm coming from. I yield the floor.
Yeah, the way we see it, according to scripture, she's going to be betrayed by her allies and get destroyed by her allies, right? That's in Revelation, I believe, right?
Yeah.
And you know what, tell you, and I'm gonna let Doug talk, because Doug is a guest in my house as well, so don't do that, hot sauce. Everybody can talk. I invite Doug up here. Don't do that. I know you just listened to Tayu and Jacob. I think all of us listened to them, but I think that's great points. You good?
I just wanted to add. I wanted to comment just on the monetary part, right? The cabal, they're never interested in money. Money is not a concern of theirs. Money is a means of controlling of the assets and resources, keeping score, right? So if the U.S. dollar goes away tomorrow, they probably won't be poor, right? Because they have a system in place to control those resources. Now, the threat is people like us, the diaspora going back to Africa and preventing them from having control of African resources. That way they can't have their AI, their special computer systems, and their surveillance systems. That becomes a threat, right? Because without the resources, they can't control the world, right? They can't monitor the world. So that's what they're concerned about. And that's why you see after 2019 with the awakening, right? It was the Israelites telling the world who we are and telling our people on the continent, hey, you know your leadership is working for the cabal, and that's why you're poor, even though you sit on the richest continent on the whole planet, right? So I think we actually contributed to what we see in the Sahel today, right? The Sahel Alliance, right? Saying, hey, we're going to get ours now. Forget this, right? And we're going to see major things. I think, as Kara said with the summons of Arikana Chimbori Quao, that was sort of a threat, because they don't like what they see, right? Because that's another threat to them controlling the future of African resources.
Yeah. So sorry, Teo, were you actually mentioning me? I didn't think I had the clout to be mentioned in your response. So I just wanted to put that on out there.
Well, yeah. My point was just to focus on the fact that it's never about money. Money is just a tool. That's money only works in the system that's working today, right?
Correct.
Which is the American economic system, right? The SWIFT system. When the SWIFT system gets replaced by BRICS, then there's a new leadership, right? And then who you consider rich is going to be based on who has the currency that's part of the BRICS system, right? Once that SWIFT system shut down, you could have a $500 billion in the bank, you could forget it, right? So corporations are important for people maintaining assets, because corporations have political influence. They have influence over resources. So if the economy changes, they still in power, right? So it's not money, it's resources, and like you guys said, power.
This is
power over resources.
Correct. I believe that's why they're trying to keep. You remember Teo and Jacob, we all did live together, and we were talking about Africa, and Africa was going to be the last land that they fight for. And because of the lack of resources in the surrounding lands, I believe that's why they're still keeping Africa at bay right now. They're really not fighting. They're fighting for who's going to have the seat of power right now. All of them are fighting for power. Whenever, whatever may happen, I think the last part will be a part of that resource pool, meaning they want to control the minerals. They want to control the resources coming in and out, because they've drained the swamp around them. They don't have the resources that they used to have that's readily available in these other regions, because what they do is they pull from the land and don't replenish. God gave us the proper tools and concept of farming and maintaining land. You utilize the soil for so long and then you let it rest. These people don't know how to do it. That they've drained all the nutrients out of the soil and out of the mines and out of everything for wealth, that there's nothing left.
But you see, that's why they they have to stop the Sahel Alliance, right?
Mhm.
Because if it succeeds, that's the end of their power, right? Over the biggest, richest land on the planet. But this is an issue for all Black people around the world. We all have to stand 10 toes down on this one. We can't let them attack the Sahel and get away with it like they used to, right? Like they did with Gaddafi. We can't let that stuff happen, right?
But you know-
This is our future at stake.
It's our
But you know-
inheritance.
One
Our
second.
inheritance, yeah.
I don't think they're gonna be able to attack. Because again, think about it, y'all. Why is Gog and Magog still make it in? Gog and Magog do not come a serious problem for us until at the end of the millennial reign.
Exactly.
Because they've used up all their resources, sis.
I believe that Gog and Magog are going to turn from being the four carpenters, some of them that are the four carpenters, when they do say, okay, y'all gonna have to pay these people back, y'all gonna have to do right by them, that when Christ comes on the scene and he really does what he's gonna do, it's gonna make them mad. And at the end of the millennial reign, Gog and Magog don't get destroyed until then, when they're utterly destroyed. So I think right now, this is what I think. This ain't prophecy, this is just what I think. I think right now, individuals that we call Russia, China, Iran, all these countries are going to be allies, and the allies are going to be within Africa. I think because that's where they're trying to build that alliance there, and they're trying to build like Africa's really, and Russia is really trying to build that relationship with them. They're going to have
thing, Sister E.
Okay.
We are a threat to the existing system.
Yeah.
And the AES is a threat to the existing system, right? And you know how these people move, right? They're gonna do something. Now they won't get away with it because you have China and Russia technically aiding the Sahel Alliance, the Black people in Africa, right? So they have a powerful ally. That doesn't mean they're not gonna try, because if they don't try, they will be a third world nation, especially like France and UK and Germany. They don't have resources, right? So if they now, you would think,
Have you know, we have potatoes and coal. We have resources.
well, you know, you can sell the potatoes on the black market. You're right.
Yeah,
French fries, anyone?
But again, I'm going back. I just think that right now they're going to be Russia and China and all those countries are going to build an alliance. But when Christ
Yeah, I
comes
agree with that.
and he sets the rules down and say, this is how we're going to live, that's when they're going to say, wait, hold on, we want to go back to our old way. Wait a minute, we didn't think it was going to be like this. And they're going to be mad because they can't return back to their normal lives. Because when Christ comes because I'm a firm believer in the millennial reign, he's going to set the rules and the boundaries of how we're going to operate as a people in this world. That's why he's going to rule and reign. And people like Gog and Magog can't delve in capitalism anymore when he comes. You can't do that anymore. So you're going to see them fight against them. And then towards the end, that's when the devil is going to come, or Satan is going to come and try to deceive them. And they're going to think they can rail against Christ because they're going to be like, we've done it before, we can do it again. And guess what's going to happen? They're going to be utterly destroyed. That's what I'm thinking.
All right,
Well, I
there's a
wanna say
lull in the action. There's a lull in the action. I know you want. Let me for a moment.
Go ahead,
So, thank you. So, I'm listening, and I think all of you make wonderful and profoundly insightful points, Sister E. I think you're on point with the trajectory. I think the ether is wearing off. The world had this ether in 45 when the United States supposedly, defeated the Nazis, and they set in place the Israeli state shortly thereafterward, and began to put their puppet governments in place around the globe, and they had firm control. And then the ether wore off, the support wore off, and while that happened, all the wars that these folks got themselves in hollowed out the blood and treasure that might have been the decency to stave off people like Donald Trump. So as the world watches the United States lose its influence and power, I think the United States has been subtly preparing its people for its defeat. I don't think that there is a question that in order for things to progress, the United States has to fall. Babylon has to go forward. And I think now it's in the face of the folks that run this country with any sense seeing that plainly. And I think these movies, I think all these mechanisms they put in place preparing the psyche of the American people for, I don't know, enslavement, occupation, all the games, all the movies, all the fear of war, and they're just letting it go. They're just letting it all go. And it's my belief that they're not even going to make a try. I think they're just waiting for the destruction. In order for what you have in mind to take place, Sister E, to soften the face of the Africans, that Gog and Magog, what better gesture than to offer the enslaved brethren, they might call, back to the fold, back to Africa. And that way, settle it amongst, these individuals. It could open the door of whatever relations they want to open and then move forward. And that's really all I had. I love your conversation. You guys are awesome. Every last one of you guys are awesome. And there's a reason you don't listen to me, sir. I understand that. It's okay, though. All right. That's all I had.
Okay.
I
Well,
like
I
your
just want to say this
concept.
really quickly. So I don't mean it in an offensive way, and I apologize if I offended someone.
Well,
I
all
just
of that
look
is
at it.
meaningless, and you did offend me, and I'm not accepting your apology right now. You give me a minute.
Okay.
What I
Okay.
did was I showed Sister E a lot of respect, because what I could have done was just well, anyway.
Well, okay, then fine. No, you don't have to accept my apologies. I'll just say it to the other people who are willing to. It's not that I just come from the point of you cannot, when it comes to the scriptures, number one, you have to find your own salvation, and number two, you cannot listen to just any and everybody, right? So that's where I come from with that. Second point is when it comes to Africa and our relationship, it would behoove us to also make an agreement or a negotiation with them, because right, we see right now all of the scamming that's taking place of so many African Americans that go to Africa and get scammed. We see right now in Ghana, go black to Africa, where they built up this community, and then now the Ghana government took it over. The Four Carpenters, right? Russia is building energy, India is bringing medicine to Africa, and China does infrastructure, right? The African governments, as they stand right now, they will be totally happy working with them without our input. And this is from a person who has done work in Africa, in Kenya. And right now, we are really romanticizing the view that the African government has toward us right now. And right now, it really behooves us that if we are going to stand for Africa, if we are going to fight with them hand in hand, then we need something in place that we can enforce. Because at the end of the day, right now, we're doing a lot of work over there in Africa, and we're getting scammed, myself included.
Let me tell you something, Hassan. I see your point, and I see, and I agree to an extent.
Well, it's facts.
Can I respond to that?
Okay, but let me say one thing, because I want to kind of, I'm trying to help Hot Sauce, because Hot Sauce is not trying to help him, but I see something of what he's saying. Now this is my belief system when it comes to even the dealings and the relationships of Africa. This will not happen by the hand of man. This is going to be happening by the hand of the Most High, to put a group of people in a position to say, I got the two sticks that's supposed to come together, Ephraim and Jacob, which is I think in Ezekiel 34. He says, I'm gonna bring Ephraim and Jacob together. This is going to be a situation we don't know how, but the Most High is going to do that. He's going to bring those two sticks together and make them one. No man can bring that together, because you're talking about centuries upon centuries of tension. Israel and Judah Israel and Judah. I mean, not Jacob. Israel and Judah have always had some form of infighting. Northern kingdom and southern kingdom, even in the Bible, fight like we do with Africa. So it's not, the relationship has not changed. That's why the Most High has to come on the scene, because when he comes on, he gonna set the record straight. Y'all finna stop fighting and y'all finna come together. So this tension amongst us has not just been brand new. This didn't happen in the past 400 years. This happened all the way at the beginning of time, dealing with in the Bible. That's why the northern kingdom separated from the southern kingdom. And
Say,
northern-
Sister E, when you get a chance, play that TikTok video I just sent you.
Okay, but that's why northern kingdom went in captivity, southern kingdom was still there, but there was still some infighting. So that's all I gotta say. But before I play the video, I think Karis has something to say.
Yeah, if I can respond to that, a lot of the things that Brother Garth and I were involved in when we were on the ground in Burkina Faso, that involved the Sahel, that involved representatives from Niger and Mali. And if you didn't know, I know the language barrier and things of that nature, but the translation makes it clear, especially what Dr. Arikana was saying and what Ibrahim Traore was saying. They want us back. They want our help. So, if this
Can I say something to you quickly before? It's only going to be quick, but continue. I just wanted to say, yeah.
So when we are looking at what happened, they had a change of leadership. They had a coup. Because why? Because the relationship, especially what Sister E was saying, the historical relationship has been manipulated by the West to do what? To ensure that those strain points, those tension points can always be manufactured and played out to do what? To deter and inhibit the growth. Now, this is the very first time that you actually had an African leader that is actively there, who actively, this is what happened, so you all can get the understanding, they called Burkina Faso, made the call to their embassy in the U.S. and said, can you reach on out to Dr. Arikana and her people over at ADDI? That happened about 4 months ago. And this delegation that went on over was to ensure that it wasn't just for photo ops. It wasn't just for a game or play 400 years, right? It wasn't a commercial, to say everything's great here. No. You want to know what it was? It was the saddest thing that you could ever see or experience in your life, going up into internal displaced persons, refugee camps, seeing how they're living, seeing what's going on with Western policy, and seeing what's happening with the healthcare system or lack thereof because of policies specifically from the French that the U.S. supported. So you want to know, this is an historic moment because this is the very first time that you have African leadership reaching out to our brothers and sisters in the diaspora. And the folks on the continent, these other African leaders are taking notice, and they're on notice because their people are seeing what's happening.
Yeah, I don't trust him.
I wanted to just quickly say something.
I'm sorry,
really
it's not the
quickly.
first time. You had.
Hot sauce, let me say something really quick. Hot sauce, I do, and I'm gonna say this. I hate to say this, y'all. Don't be frustrated when I say this. I somewhat see things from Hot Sauce's eyes because you're speaking.
I was going to say the same thing as well.
Yeah.
Let me put it to y'all like this. I come from a place called Scampa Bay. That means niggas be out here scamming people left and right. You got more chances of getting scammed out here than you do in Africa. There's more places that nobody. Let me finish. I let everybody talk. Hush. There's more. You can go to Chicago, you get taken out. You go to Jacksonville, you get taken out. You go to certain parts of Atlanta, you will get taken out. What we got to understand is we are under the same colonialism that they are. And y'all sitting here playing this, oh, they did this and they did that, goes nowhere. At some point, Judah has to be humble and say, we're going to put the slights aside and we are going to step up. Because we are the ones.
Judah doesn't do anything. As I understand it, the Creator is supposed to do, not Judah. Give me a break. You sitting there talking about all that we can do. All that we can do.
was fun.
Is everybody
Anyway,
calm?
as I was saying, you stay focused on your feelings and looking at things from feelings, you missing the big picture. These people under the same oppression that we are. We got our sisters running around with their butts hanging out. We got our brothers running around with their butts hanging out, killing each other. I just seen a whole dude kick and push a woman all down the hallway, and y'all want to sit and talk about people going through the same thing until we both realize that white supremacy has got us jacked up, that we be hustling ourselves here. Let alone over there. If you're gonna let the little bit of nonsense get you away, then you missing the big picture. It's bigger than all of that, because there's, for every little bit of folks that you see out there doing that, there's 10 times more coming out there saying, hey, this is what we need. Hey, I'm ready to do this. Hey, if y'all bring the know-how and the ability, I'll sign up for it and work with you. You got folks that's like, hey, I got business over here, I don't know how to do it, can you help us? Not trying to hustle, but being for real. Like, you got to come out of this nonsense of getting in your feelings and stuff like that. Yeah, some niggas is gonna hustle you over there. People hustle you over here too. We make jokes about it. This is what we do over here.
I would love to respond when he.
My God, Jesus, this dude.
Let me do a reset real quick, because I do have to give Doug an opportunity to speak, because he said something. I saw you're next. I actually have something to say, but I'm gonna let y'all speak first. So Doug, everybody calm, breathe. Now, Doug.
All right. So now here's the thing, man. I understand all of the factoid that you're spewing regarding our circumstances here aside, and all the fact that it could happen to us anywhere else and go over all these plans and negotiations and all this. Where and when does the Most High come into play? I said when we were given a break that I'm almost of the mind that the Most High is not going to do a damn thing to help Negroes till they stop trying to move in every direction he doesn't intend. And what are you going to do? You're going to set something up over there to last until the kingdom comes and it's all destroyed? I don't trust any of them. I heard all that you talked about. Stop, bro. Man, look, man. Listen, bro. Look, man. Did you not hear her tell you to let me speak?
Okay. Everybody calm down. Big Red, let him finish his point, and then you chime in. Okay.
Did Jesus build the wall, or did Nehemiah do it?
Hold on. Okay,
this dude. Thank you.
Doug, now let him finish.
Did the Most High have Nehemiah build the wall?
This dude. Be quiet, please.
Did
Be
the
quiet.
Most High have angels build the wall? Or did Nehemiah do it?
Big Red, I actually.
Man.
Y'all sound stupid, bro. Like you sound dumb right now.
No, man, you sound contrite and you just sound ridiculous.
Hold on.
Sister E, let me ask you something. I mean, I respect Doug and Red. I think they're highly intelligent brothers. That's one thing I would say about both of these brothers and things of that nature. And I'm sorry, say it again for me, sister. Say it again for me.
I'm letting them know. I'm letting y'all go down there for a minute for everybody to cool off, and I'm gonna bring you back up. I just don't want it to get emotional. Everybody has their own viewpoint with
right, yeah.
Because I stand more so on the side of hot sauce and somewhat like Doug. I feel like when the time comes, it's going to be the hand of the Most High. We still have a lot of unanswered questions when it comes to that, but I don't want to get into that conversation because that conversation breeds tension amongst and separation amongst the community.
Yeah, that's the reason why. Yeah, that's the reason why I said. I mean, I respect both of the brothers. I mean, I kid you not. I think both of them are highly intelligent, and they both bring valid. They bring in concrete evidence, and things of that nature. So I mean, I don't appreciate to see both of these brothers go back and forth at it because I mean I know of Doug and I know Red, and so I mean like I said, I respect both of those brothers, and I think that we just take a step back, recalibrate ourselves and things of that nature, and get along as brothers. That's how I see it.
We gotta calm down. I have a viewpoint when it comes to that. I feel like the Most High is going to bring the branches together, but that's what I think. But I'm not knocking. I think in the soil of Africa, they still have a few things they need to work on when it comes to us, just like they have to us. Hold on. y'all can continue on.
Yeah, I mean, it's we you know what I mean. We waking up right now, you know, and we taking this awakening, we taking it seriously, and there's no ifs, ands, and no buts about it. We grabbing it just as we supposed to do, according to scriptures. We grabbing it. We don't argue about who we are. We know who we are, and we move with it. That's it. In this very short time. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. The point I was making, I'm sorry. It's just that the point I was making was any deal, any negotiation that we make with these individuals so ready to, invite us back with open arms is going to be temporary. I don't think that they have. It ends badly for us. They know who we are. And if any deal made, I'm looking at them with a side eye. I don't trust anybody not a Negro. That's what I'm saying.
You should be.
I think don't tell me what I should, or that's where you go first. That's why I'm really kind of upset. You made this personal. You don't know me. I don't know you. Don't tell me what I should or shouldn't do. You do what you feel right. And when I'm making don't tell me anything. Your experience is blind to me. I don't know you, and I'm not telling you from any experience. I'm telling you. I'm giving you an opinion. That's all. An opinion is.
Brother, hold on, Red. Red. Hold on for a moment. Red.
Why doesn't this start? Well, you know what? Look, I've been real cool. I'm trying to be cool. All I'm saying is real easy. There is no safe space for Negroes until the kingdom arrives. Take everything with a grain of salt. You hear there, everywhere, we're still the set apart, chosen. And they got a target on us. And you think, and look, I don't think for a second that the target of good that some of you might see, it'll easily turn into a target of contempt. I mean, envy breeds contempt. They're envious of us. That's the issue. I'm not shaking any of their damn hands.
How many?
That's what I'm saying.
Oh my God. How many have you talked to personally? How many times have you gone over there? How many times have you gone to the
Listen, dude. First and foremost, don't try to call me to account. My experiences aren't none of your damn business. I've had interactions with Africans.
Yeah, brothers. Hold on for a moment. Doug, hold on for a minute, brother Doug. Brother Doug, hold on just for a moment. I mean, like I said, I respect both of you brothers dearly. Doug, you're highly educated, brother, and I would say the same thing about Brother Red. And I would say Brother Red, he goes in. He's very passionate, and I take that, as a positive, not necessarily as a negative that he's trying to attack you, Brother Doug. I don't think he's trying to attack you, but I see the tempers, and I see that we going down a road that we shouldn't be going down. That's what I'm seeing. I'd rather maintain the peace than to be getting upset.
I think everybody has to respect everybody's views when it comes to the interaction of Africa. I think the people know that each side has their own viewpoint. I have mine, and it may be the opposite of what others may have. But we got to respect that. If Doug feels that way, that's how Doug feels. If Yakoba feels that way, if I feel that way, we have to. But what we have to be is patient and wait on the Most High. The Most High reveal to us when it's time to go. If where we're going, we may look up and be in an island that we've never seen before. You get what I'm saying? We just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I know right now we have to wait and see what's happening because we're seeing prophecy unfold before our eyes. We must not forget that wherever we are going, the Antichrist still got to rear his head up. Where is this Antichrist? Ain't none gonna truly come together until Christ comes. This stuff is not, these pieces are not going to glue together until Christ is the one that's going to actually, and again, I'm going back to Ezekiel. He says that he's going to bring the two branches together and make them one. So, I mean, I'm not knocking what people do. I don't. I thank God for people that's doing and reaching out and going to other continents and doing work. I praise the Most High, but we got to be respectful of the other people's views. What were you saying, Chantel?
Can I just quickly read something?
Okay. Hold on.
Okay.
Red and Doug, I'm pulling y'all back up, but everybody got to come chill. Okay.
This kind of goes in light with them coming back up. I just wanted to quickly read this. It's Ecclesiasticus 11, verse 7. It says, blame not before thou hast examined the truth. Understand first and then rebuke. Answer not before thou hast heard the cause, neither interrupt men in the midst of their talk. Strive not in a matter that concerneth thee not, and sit not in judgment with sinners. My son, meddle not with many matters, for if thou meddle much, thou shalt not be innocent, and if thou follow after, thou shalt not obtain, neither shalt thou escape by fleeing. I just wanted to read that. So I think we should let people speak and hear the matter and then answer.
Very good counsel. Exactly. People finish and notice that I'm not. Well, you guys are free to be and take the trajectory you feel is best. I'm commenting on what I'm hearing. I'm not making it personal. You guys, those of you that have listened to me know I don't make it personal unless I absolutely have to. But I just don't trust any of it until it's not that I wouldn't go along. I'm not saying that that's perhaps maybe not to our advantage, but I'm saying that any deal that we make, any interaction we have with any nation, all of them are complicit, even the ones that want us back. That's all I'm saying. They do what you do what you want to do, but that was my whole point. That's it.
So if I can just say something really quickly. When it comes to Africa, we already have a lot of African Americans there already. I am also one of them. That's going back and forth to Kenya to build commercial agriculture. Lots of us get scammed. Lots of us get promised one thing from the government and then another thing happens. None of the government is offering permanent residency. None of the governments are offering citizenship. None of the governments are even offering citizenship by investment. So when we're volunteering ourselves to defend them on certain issues, right? We're going to be left out in the cold unless one, we have some kind of contract in writing, and number two, that we can defend it. Because right now there's a lot of Hebrew Israelite communities in Ghana right now that's going through arbitration because the government went back on their word. These are real things that we need to look at as African Americans, as ADOS, as we're going over there, because we need a place to stay. And the last thing that we want is to go there, build it up, and then kicked out, because that's what's happening right now in real time. I've put up $50,000. Please let me finish. I put up $50,000 of my own money and got scammed out of $32,000. So if people talk about, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, things like that, I'm on the ground. It has happened to me. It has also happened to friends. So I'm not only speaking from what's on YouTube that anyone can look at, but I'm also speaking to what has happened to me and other friends that I've invited to invest in Kenya as well. This is a real issue.
It is. You know what? You're right. It is. It is a very serious issue. That's one thing it is. You're dealing with people that's trying to come up. And if I gotta scam you out of some money, I'm gonna do just that. That can happen in the United States just as well.
Well, my point is
Dude,
not.
Can you let other people talk, please? Can you please let other people say something? You're long-winded. We get it.
I am not long-winded. I am not long, bro. Just because I don't want to hear, just because I don't follow you,
not
you
the
don't
sister
take it.
just read the verse about cutting people off.
God damn.
Just read the. Hey, bro, calm down. Did not the sister just read the verse about that?
It's real. I mean, look here, brothers. We brothers. We supposed to be said. We supposed to. Go ahead, sister. Sorry. Go ahead, sister. I'm sorry.
Shift the conversation. We're not going to discuss Africa anymore. We're going to go back to the original subject. I'm going to play the video that Teo sent me, because this is getting out of hand. We understand that sore spot amongst this entire community is Africa right now. We
May
know
I say
that.
one thing before we shift?
I want to say one thing. If you keep doing something and you keep finding frustration, maybe it's because you're doing it the wrong way. If you keep trying to go in and moving as an individual or move as this little tiny
can't do
group,
that.
maybe you're doing things as the wrong way. The reason why we face the problems because we are not smart and we don't look and see the bigger picture. And one thing I will say, I thank Yah for putting Brother Karras across my path because I see the bigger picture because I didn't think about it this way until he started talking about it. That you have to look at it from a government agency. You got to think bigger than just going in there by yourself and buying some land, sitting up under a government that's up under a European. Of course you're not going to get treated right. They're European puppets. Duh. You expect to get anything better? Like if you come in here and dealing with the boule in America, we got the same thing. Why do you think the NAACP is feckless and don't do nothing? Because they run by Europeans. We had a whole European Khazar woman being the president of the NAACP. Nobody's complaining about that though. But we supposed to believe that they come and doing for us. See, we got to understand and see the bigger picture. You keep coming and doing things as an individual on some nonsense. Maybe the way you're doing it is wrong. Maybe you should rethink your approach. It's not that the people are bad. Yeah, you're going to come into bad people. But if you have a different set of authority, you don't have to worry about those people. That's all I'm going to say.
Can I ask a quick question? Whoever.
Can I come in now?
Okay.
For 10
Oh,
seconds?
sorry, Uncle. Hey, Asif, how are you doing? Oh,
Shalom, my sister. It's been a while.
it has
Thank you
been
for
a
having
while.
me on the panel.
Thank you for coming on.
I wish some order could be brought to the room and people brought under heel. Brother Karras and Brother Mike and Q2A and Brother Doug is correct. In some extent, you can't do things by yourself. I'm married to in an influential family in Ghana, and I've got relatives on the ground. I wouldn't go there and start something by myself without some sort of collective input from my end. And I'll just cut it there because Sister E needs to play her video.
Yeah, I want to end
Did
this.
I say I went to Africa alone, invested alone? Did I ever say that? Did I ever say
No,
that?
no. I don't think he meant that way, hot sauce.
But
I don't think
because here's the thing.
I
right?
never inferred it that way.
So-
I said
so-
I have
because the
family
point-
on the
the
ground,
point- the
and I
point
would
I
not
want to-
go in by my own, by myself.
The point I want to highlight, and I'll just be quiet after this.
Organizations like Q2UA will help because they've got not only the organizational influence but the political clout as well, you know, and probably who you're working with have not given you the correct advice.
So I will just put it to you this way. I'll just
Everybody, dadgummit, I'm sick of it now. I'm sick of everybody. Everybody finna chill out now. As of now, we changing the subject. I have my viewpoints. I'm gonna be honest. I lean towards a lot of what Doug and them was saying, but that's not the conversation piece. This right here breeds tension. Every single time we start talking about going back and different groups, let's let that die because right now I don't want it to breed tension amongst each other. Everybody has their viewpoints when it comes to this, and we got to respect everybody's viewpoints and respect the boundaries, and stop being argumentative and stop taking things personal. Because again, I might not see it from your eyes red, or I may not see it from hot sauce's eyes red, but guess what? We're still Israel, period. We're still Judah, period. We still come from the same bloodline, period. We're still fighting the same fight if we're fighting it in the US, or if we're fighting it in Africa, if we're fighting it in the UK, if we're fighting it in some of us that are in Israel right now that are fighting it. So at the end of the day, we're still one nation. And we got to stop this. And I'm at a point now where I'm just getting sick of this because this Africa conversation, I don't knock what we're doing, but we're not going to create tension amongst each other where we have a bunch of infighting. Some people are not even speaking to each other right now because of some of this infighting. And I'm ready for it to stop now. And we're going to respect everybody's boundaries.
Hallelujah.
Now, y'all done pissed me off now. Okay, so
Get it together, Sister E.
and let me just say this to hot sauce. I can say to you you, Hot Sauce, because I don't want Hot Sauce to think that we're attacking him. We got to even respect his viewpoint. We got to respect Doug's viewpoint. We got to respect Kara's viewpoint. We got to respect Red. Everybody's viewpoint at this table. But at the end of the day, who makes the decision on what's going to transpire? Yeah, he gonna make the decision. If he tell us to go over there, guess what? We got to go. If he tell y'all to come on back here, y'all got to come on back. He's the one that's gonna settle the whole case. Period. So I am getting ready to go and play this video. And as of now, we got to really sit back and really think about how we're going to deal with each other when we have these conversations as it pertains to Africa, because it's getting ugly and it's only getting worse from here. So as of now, conversations about Africa, I'm not going to have it on my channel unless I have a controlled group. But right now, we're not going to talk about it anymore because people are sensitive and it gets ugly quickly. All right, now I'm going to Yakoba's Teo's video.
Flag has officially been updated.
So France is crumbling, and I, for one, am very proud to be the one to give you this news. So the country of Martinique, I guess, has seen all that's been going around with all the other French colonies and has decided to jump on board. As of this moment, there's no talk of revolution. They're not saying anything about cutting ties with France. But one thing they're doing is they're changing their flag. They're saying that the flag that they have was given to them by France and they do not recognize it because it's a colonial flag. And they are now changing their flag. So this is the former flag of Martinique. This is the flag they've had for however long, I don't know. But it's the flag that was given to them by France. And this is the new flag of Martinique. They've chosen to go with the red, green, and blue, the Pan-African colors. In other words, they're basically moving closer to their African roots. Martinique is an island that's still a French colony. It's an island of Black people. And yeah, so France right now is losing it. They're losing it, and I am here for it. So far, France has lost Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso, Senegal, Chad. What's it called? New Caledonia is rioting right now. They're having a revolution. Martinique looks like they're going to move. By the way, France makes its former colonies pay taxes, which amounts to over $500 billion a year. You heard that, $500 billion every year. So all of you wondering why all these African countries, because till today, African countries are still paying the colonial nations for being enslaved. So right now, France is about to lose $500 billion a year in taxes that it gets from its colonial colonies. France also prints the money for a lot of West African countries, and they made them and they tax them for that too. So France is losing in total. France is probably losing about $1 trillion a year once all of its colonies leave, and that'll be it. That'll be it. French people will now everyone that's been moving to France, all these Arabs, all these Africans that you've been complaining going to France, they've been going to France because France has been milking them dry. So right now they're cutting France off so that they could start rebuilding, so their people could come back home and have everything they need. But yeah, France is it's crumbling, and I'm here for it. I am absolutely fucking happy.
All right, so I'm getting ready to close. So everybody breathe. Y'all, we gotta have a real live conversation about this though. Seriously, we have one offline because this is getting to the point we screaming at each other at the top of our lungs. So once we close this live, I do want everybody to stay on. Everybody to stay on that's been on this panel. So if you can. Thank you all so much for supporting. Thank you so much for your time. Y'all, this has been and Shonda's texted me. Shonda, you're welcome to come up if you want to. This was a great conversation. All I thank y'all so much for y'all support. And we'll have another conversation and finish up talking about this because I think this is going to turn into something deeper. And when we're dealing with what's going on with what happened in Iran. So All right. Everybody have a good one. Good night.